Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running
Hello and welcome everybody to the Rampage Premade Weekend 2. I am play-by-play Josie. I am joined today by Lemons, and our streamer today is Wife Swap. Happy to bring you this Week 2 festivities between 2-0-1 teams looking to get their first wins. How are you doing today, Lemons?
Doing well, man. Doing well. Excited for another week of Risen here, and just really excited to be in the booth with you today. Get some new accompaniment here in the casting booth. But really, it's going to be about this game today, and to see if both teams can kind of bounce back from their Week 1 losses. They're both losing 0-2 to their respective opponents, where HGG last year were in the finals. They were the runner-ups, and you would think they would come into this season so much stronger. But as we saw last week, both teams coming off 0-2 in the series. And so let's see what they can bring to us today and see if they changed up their strategies a little bit.
Yeah, they definitely want to bounce back. Maybe they got a little complacent and just need to get their gear together, but we'll see how they do against just 5 guys doing today. But as we get into the picks and bans here, we do see some of the meta bans are being picked off here. I do know that 2 Teeth Weave for HGG does play a lot of Jinx. This is his most played AD carry, so that's going to be off the table as she's one of the stronger ones at the moment. Azir, Lily, and Soul and Aurelia, HGG's bans of choice at the moment. Must be a one trick for this Early and Soul. We don't really see that ban very often.
Yeah, well, he has been getting a little bit more prominence here recently as just like kind of a zone control mage in that mid lane. But it is definitely a target ban this time around, just because of the rise in prominence recently. And he is that strong pick in the middle with the roaming capability as well. But seeing these other picks taken off the board, definitely some high profile picks taken off, especially looking at Aurelia and the Jinx being taken off the board as well. And then we have the first pick coming from HGG as the Warwick, which is another pick we have started to see a little bit more recently, at least in the solo queue areas, but not really in the competitive or team aspect play. So we'll have to see how centered around this pick that their entire team composition is going to be.
Yeah, and on return, we see just 5 guys going around for the Silas, which is a very strong flex pick at the moment here. You can put in the top lane, you can put in the mid lane, and you could put it in the jungle as well. But going back to the Warwick, yeah, he did just get a bug fix, which I'm not... There's something on his W that apparently was making Warwick mains really sad. So apparently, since he's got that fixed... Yeah, since he's been fixed, apparently his win rate's gone up a good chunk, and his gameplay is much smoother now. Kind of interesting to see the priority put onto the jungle for the very first pick, but
Exactly
maybe their jungle is a sub in today for him. They are having Dark Eclipse play in their jungle, so maybe they're just trying to get him on a very comfortable pick so he can kind of mesh with their team better. On the opposite side, we do see the fresh... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, it's still definitely questionable, though. I mean, I feel like Warwick isn't one of those high priority bans. But as you were saying, I mean, we have to kind of move through these picks a little bit, getting a little bit behind. But we have the Silas and the Thresh coming out for just 5 guys. And I really like that pick for the Thresh and the Silas combination, but as well as just having the Silas in your pocket the whole time, being able to see every time they pick a champion, oh, that ulti will be really nice. Oh, that one will be perfect in a team fight. So starting off with that, it's really nice to see that. And you can tell that HGG aren't really drafting against that. They're not trying to keep away from the really high priority ultimates, because they did go ahead and draft that Lucian and the Pyke, who are respectively extremely strong together. So that bot lane is going to be very strong itself.
Yeah, actually, about that. Fun fact about Pyke. Pyke is now the most banned champion in all of League of Legends, passing the longtime champion of Yasuo. People have now got to a point where Pyke is deemed even worse than Yasuo, at least in Plat Plus games, according to U.GG. Just putting that out there. But yeah, he is now the most banned champion. So he slipped through here, though, and we'll see if that's actually going to matter or not, because if he can start getting those ults off, the snowball potential is huge.
Well, and that ulti just has such a large threshold that it's so easy in a big team fight where everybody's just fighting tooth and nail, and you're getting down to those last bits of health, and then all of a sudden Pyke just hits his R button 5 times and GG, there goes the game. So it's such a pivotal part to a lot of late game team fights, as well as getting those picks early on that help him so much. So that is going to be a very strong pick for HGG, and we'll have to see if they can really make that work. But going through the bans here for the second phase, Just Five Guys went ahead and banned out 2 mid laners here in the Anivia and the Malzahar. So really prioritizing banning those high profile, really control mage style mid laners. And then for HGG, we have the Sejuani taken out, who is played by almost every jungler nowadays and is such an easy lockdown jungler. And then following that up with the Braum, which is a little interesting to ban out because of the Thresh. So we'll have to see about that.
Actually, the Braum, I just
there you go.
That's a free ban. It's not actually a ban. Since the support's already been banned. HGG did lose a ban due to having to use an emergency sub, so they're just throwing that in there quickly, so we don't have to wait for the timer the whole time. One pick I want to put in here is a Misfortune we kind of let slip by as well. While Misfortune doesn't have any mobility to avoid the Pyke, she does have a lot of poke to try and keep the Lucian and Pyke at bay. And with the Thresh safety, if she gets hooked in with her immobility, Thresh can land her right back out. So that could actually look to be a strong pick against Pyke. But we do see the Jax get locked in. It immediately hovered by the Pantheon to go to it. That is the new Pantheon, which I can see that going pretty even against the top lane. Pantheon is, of course, as soon as I get all hyped up on it, they are going to switch to the Poppy, which is also a very strong pick against Jax. She can just deny him the leap in if she has the quick reflexes on her Vanguards. And so we'll have to see, but it's kind of a safer pick. So the only issue with that is if Poppy's not able to bully the Jax out early, we all know what the late game Jax can do. So they are going to have to play around that.
Yeah, for sure. And if this is going to be, which most likely is, that Warwick jungle, he's going to be able to be a lot of places on the map. And we'll have to see if he wants to really focus in that top lane and try to get that ahead, because they do have the damage with that Pyke and the Lucian. So having a little bit of tanky members around and surrounding that are going to be very good. But this is going to be very interesting here to see the Mordekaiser locked in for HGG.
Yeah, this is a very scrappy mid-game team kind of thing, where they're all going to kind of look to just kind of get into some very quick brawls around objectives. Maybe use the Mordekaiser to single someone out. They can use the Warwick to single someone out and use a Pyke to execute as well. And then if anything, Poppy can prevent a bad fight that they don't want to deal with. And in turn, we do see Vladimir get picked in. So that's actually going to be a Jax in the jungle most likely, unless mostly
jungle.
I would say it could be Silas jungle, Jax top, Vlad mid. So it'll be interesting to see where they want to go with their different choices. Once we start loading into game, we'll see what Just Five dudes will want to do with that. But yeah, this is definitely Just Five dudes have picked a very late game comp. It is, if it gets to late game, the Silas, the Jax, and the Vladimir scaling is definitely going to overwhelm what HGG wants to do. So we'll have to kind of see how each team actually looks to actually execute on their game plan.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I want to circle back to kind of the toss up on where everything's going to go. That's what I love about League of Legends these days, is the fact that you do have so many flex picks available to you, to people who can play a variety of champions. It's now a skill to have a variety, a champion ocean, if you will. And to see this being utilized even on these scales, it can be so nice to have that flexibility in your drafts. Even as coming out as a player, you have so many different options you can play. And if, say, you think you can play a better matchup than your counter lane, then you can go ahead and take that and win that matchup for yourself. So I'm really excited to see where these champions are going to go, even if we do see them in more basic roles. Just the fact that it leaves it as a question in your mind until you get into the game is what I love about this.
Definitely, we'll have to see how the teams want to flex things around on the side of Just Five dudes. HGG's picking a very standard comp and deciding to see if they can hopefully blow the game up early to get their first win in the season.
It looks like we might get it. And we do.
It does look like it is going to be the Silas in the jungle and Jax in the top lane. So we'll have to. So that kind of goes back to how we kind of thought it would go normally as far as the Park versus the Poppy versus the Jax goes. Silas is going to have to be careful though. Warwick in the jungle versus Silas. Like, Silas probably does not want to deal with that early on.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it's going to be all up to where these jungles path to, especially with the number of different paths you can do as these junglers, and especially with that early brawling capability. I'm really interested to see which one is going to take the more aggressive stance in the jungle and who is going to play the more farm until you get 6 and then go into trying to be aggressive. Because whoever does take that first step into aggression, if it goes well for them, that's an immediate snowball for you for both junglers. But if it goes badly for you, that is catastrophic for your team. So we'll have to see if they want to play defensively or if they're going to kind of put all their cards on the table and go for it.
Yeah, we'll also have to kind of see what lane they want to play around. If I had to make a guess for HGG, I'm going to guess Warwick is going to try and play around the bot lane. You'd have Delusion Pike. If you can get that duo snowballed, Mordekaiser can hold his own, Poppy can hold her own. So if you can get this bot lane snowballed ahead where the Misfortune can't ever get to her, actually I kind of see what build the Misfortune goes for, but if she tries to go for that early game lethality and gets denied that, she's going to be in the hole so deep that they could just run it down bot lane for the entire game. But
yeah, exactly.
On the side of just 5 dudes, they might even just play any lanes, you know? They might just kind of help make sure that their lane stays safe, but they might just, they might just want to stay safe, scale up, get their items. Silas wants to get his jungle item and his boots. Jax definitely wants to get his items. Vladimir doesn't get strong until 1 or 2 items also. So they might just want to play safe and keep their bot lane safe from the aggression that HGG might want to bring.
Yeah, and the thing is you have that option, especially with that Thresh and the Misfortune, with that poke that you were talking about earlier. You can play pretty safe, especially against more of an up-in-your-face kind of action style bot lane that HGG are bringing to the table, even though they do have that lethality and just being able to burst you down instantly. If you can play that safe, kind of pull back and play poke and play with the Thresh hooks, then you can do really well. So I am really excited about this bot lane because I think we're going to have a lot of action, especially at that level 2 mark. But I'm more excited to see this level 3 and see where these junglers are going to go, because if Silas kind of focuses more towards the top and the mid, it's going to be a very interesting dynamic to see which side of the map can get ahead first and which side of the map can really bring this game home for which team.
Another point about the Silas is there are a lot of really good ults for him to take on the side of HGG. The Warwick ult, the Mordekaiser ult, the Poppy ult, maybe the Pike ult. Normally you don't want to risk stealing that, and hopefully not. And if you just miss everything, you're completely wasted at that point. But even the Lucian ult can be a little handy in a niche situation.
Oh, yeah.
So Silas might be pretty happy.
The board. Exactly. I think you have so many options here, especially in those late game team fights where you really have anything you want. You have a suppression, you have the Shadow Realm, you have the execution, you even have the knockback from the Poppy if you wanted. So I think that they are set up really well for this mid to late game, especially with the scaling that they have on their team. But you've got to get to that point, and that's the biggest thing nowadays when we're playing this early game focus kind of ball till you fall style League of Legends. It's really hard to get to those points, but if you do, and you do have this kind of slogging game, you really can do well because you have that Jax, because you have that Vladimir and the Silas and the Misfortune. So these team comps are going to be really crazy, and I expect to see fireworks across the board here.
Definitely, we'll be excited to see how these teams execute on that. But meanwhile, while everybody gets loaded into the Rift and we get everything good to go, we'll be taking a short break, and so don't change away from that webpage. We'll be right back.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun, feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun, running, no, hold on, don't let go. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for game 1 between Howling, Gale, and just 5 dudes getting onto the rift. And immediately as we get onto the rift, we'd see them getting ready to do possibly a 5-man invade with the Pike. What do you think?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can pull something off here, especially with the early game damage that they have. And they are looking to sneak into this, but Thrush is coming right down to meet them. And we do have a pause just
Oh,
for a minute
no.
while we're trying to figure out what's going on. Looks like we might have had a disconnect. So
Yep.
they will be back here, but just kind of going over the keystones here for each team. We do see pretty typical keystones across the board. I do want to point out that press the attack on Warwick is pretty deadly, especially in those early game skirmishes in the jungle when he can get those 3 auto attacks off pretty quickly and is able to get that extra damage percentage on you early on. But besides that, we don't really see too much. We do see press the attack on the Misfortune as well, which has been becoming more prominent recently, especially since the last patch as well.
Yeah, nothing with the Warwick press the attack. It does work on his ultimate as well, because the attacks he makes during the ultimate count as auto attacks. So pretty much if he gets an ult onto somebody, it's an automatic bonus damage that's going to be happening to that target. On the other side, we do see that both Jax and Silas are going to be going with the Conqueror. So if it gets in an extended fight, they could actually win out as far as the healing and bonus damage goes. But it should get interesting. The Mordekaiser has his Conqueror as well. And it does look like we have the Vladimir reconnecting here, so we should hopefully begin just reconnected here shortly. We apologize about that, but better get out of the way early, you know?
We promise the hamsters are being fed and they're being well taken care of. We just have to make sure that nothing else is going wrong. But going into these team comps and kind of looking at the broader perspective of both teams and the kind of strategies that they're going for, they're both pretty similar. I mean, mostly it's going to be about team fights for both teams. I do think that just 5 dudes have great split push opportunities as well, whereas I don't think that Howling and Gale do as much, which depending on which members get fed, that changes very quickly. But I do think that Howling and Gale are going to be looking for these mid to late game team fights a little bit more, even though we did say that just 5 dudes have the late game team fight potential to just dominate. We will have to see what these team comps kind of filter out into.
Oh, they were spotted by Spooderman as they tried to sneak in there. So they are going to probably go in here, put down that ward still just to see where the Silas is going to start at. The Silas is kind of starting to cheat on the inside, though. I was wondering if I wonder if he's planning on sneaking in to get the blue, or if he's just kind of hanging after to get some vision.
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna head back over there, and Silas probably just scouting out a little bit, just looking to see where they can see people. And it does look like
Yeah,
they're gonna go back and get these traditional leashes here going on. Hopefully, at least for the Silas.
well, actually, the thing was when he has the Hunter Townsend the way he does, Silas actually doesn't need a leash. Normally, he can
Not
start
too
with the
much.
Razor Beaks and kind of go into the level 2 at the red buff, but it does look like they are going to go for the traditional start here. But that is going to let Pocky get a little bit of control in the lane first, which can help her get through the early game as well. So we'll have to see what the junglers want to do. Is they are going to be going opposite directions, so they could possibly meet up, or they might just go opposite directions to see where they end up.
Yeah, and we'll have to see how these lanes start out, especially that top lane is where I want to kind of keep an eye on, because if that top lane gets Poppy favored, you lose that strength from the side of just 5 dudes that you were kind of betting on having the Jax in the top lane. So I really do want to put a magnifying glass on Frog in that top lane to see if he can outplay this Poppy and maybe even become a pressure point for his team early on.
Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Weave, I have a hard time saying that. I'm just gonna call him Lucian this game. He's already taking a lot of poke damage from the Misfortune Qs. So when you're trying to get to that level 2 early, that's not the direction you want to go. So they're not really able to push that early advantage that Lucian gets typically. But he's already up a good bit, almost double the CS early.
Yeah, and we do see both at level 2, so we're not going to see anything too crazy there. The moment has kind of passed, if you say. And Poppy getting hit by the tower there, taking a little bit too much damage from that. And all the lanes just feel like they're kind of playing with a lot of confidence here.
Oh, in the mid lane, we do see the Mordecai they're chasing down the Vladimir. Vladimir stuck with it, though. Didn't use his pool to get out, so he's going to have that saved as much as possible, but I kind of expected the lane to go that way as well. He does need to avoid that pull, though. If it happens too often, it might turn the lane upside down.
Well, and I just love the way that everybody is playing this game right now. They're not holding anything back. They're trying to feel out how these skirmishes are going to go, especially that top lane where we just see extended skirmishes happening over and over again. And each lane is really just trying to get these fights in and see when they can take down and get some extra gold on their hands.
Oh, Frog gets a big stun off, and he gets the Conqueror proc off as well. She dives into the middle of the minion wave. She has going to be so much damage. Oh, she pops the Vanguard. She might be saving, able to get out of range. Oh, she does have to burn the flash, so Frog did not have to use his flash for that with his Q. So that is already a huge lead in favor of Jax.
Yeah, and just over-aggression there by the Poppy in the top lane. Frog takes advantage of it and takes advantage of the gigantic minion wave that he had and goes ahead and wins a skirmish for himself. And now he's pressed to do very well in that top lane, being able to play aggressively like that. We'll have to see if Poppy's going to overextend again.
Certainly. One good thing about that, though, is since its baby did not die there, he does collect that whole big minion wave at his tower. Oh, bot lane, we got a hook in on the Lucian. He's down to half health, but they get a stun back almost. They pop the ignite on the Misfortune. She's running forward, trying to trade back. Oh, we do see a flash on Misfortune. Oh, she's gonna survive. Oh, no, she's gonna die after the flash and slash out of Pyke. Pyke's gonna try and hook him back in, but does not get that. So they're trading hooks back and forth. That was a lot of summoners down there. The only summoner not used was the Lucian flash.
Yeah, and a ton of damage down. Mini Tank thinking that they have the press the attack proc to be able to take down the Lucian, but they don't, and gets caught flashing into their own minion wave, getting body blocked by their minions, and dying to the flash from the Pyke, the flash auto from the Pyke. And that's not how you want to start this match out, but that is. You steal that blue buff and have a great time with the fighter.
Wait, was he able to steal it? Dark Eclipse has the blue buff, or did he get that over from
I thought
the
he
other
had
side?
it. I thought I saw the blue buff on him.
Oh, but I'm talking about that. Up in top lane, they already did flash. They do flash in, get the stun up on Ed's baby, and so they do get a kill back in the top lane. But even though Poppy's up a lot of CS right now, that's not the way you want that top lane to be going.
Exactly, and those kills are gonna be so crucial to Jax. I mean, we all know what a Fed Jax can do, and as soon as you give those 300 gold sacks to him, it just starts getting exponentially worse for your team. And so we are looking to see if they can maybe get an advantage more down here on this bottom lane than they already have to kind of counteract that buff that Jax is getting right now from the top lane.
Yeah, and Jax is also getting a huge wave after that, so he's already up a whole level as well and collecting all the farms. So that's going to even out the CS lead entirely. So they are going to have to start deciding what they want to do with this bot lane. They're just going to start pushing their direction. So we might see the Warwick try and make a play on this side, but as we talk about that, we do see Lame Spider making his way down here on the Silas, but does get pinged off by, I'm not sure who's pulling him off there, but they did see him to back off there. But that's what we're talking about, though. We do see that he recognizes his bot lane might be in danger, so he's trying to play around it as best he can.
Exactly, and he wants to make sure that this pressure is alleviated down here because he does have that lead in the top lane, so he doesn't have to focus up there.
Oh,
As we
in the
see
top
the
lane,
damage,
Frog procs the Conqueror again, and she does not have the flash to get away this time. Is going to have to get away from that. Now, Jax went straight for the Tiamat with that kill he got, so that is going to give him so much lane pressure against his Poppy. He can just keep pushing it down and walk away over and over.
and when those first item spikes come through, it's going to be so strong for Jax, and he really needs to be careful until then. As we see a gank trying to be pulled off here by Dark Eclipse, but nothing really works out for them. He is going to be able to clear this ward, but going back to the top lane, I mean, that Jax is going to get so much stronger. But the thing is, with Jaxes, they do end up playing a little bit too confident, and they can get overextended and lose a fight. So we'll have to see if maybe he does that, or if he continues this and continues playing well and is able to continue building this lead for himself.
He's doing so much damage there, and it's maybe ran straight for the chain vest as well, which, I mean, it does do some work against Jax, but Jax has a lot of magic damage as well, so she probably should have rushed for the Balmy Cinder instead, but we'll see how they do this. But as we were talking about that, we do see Silas making his way up here. He's only level 5, doesn't have the ult to steal at the moment, but he's just going to kind of hang out here, maybe look for a dive.
Yeah, I don't know if a die would be the best idea right now against the Poppy, especially when you're just now getting the lead up there for your top lane. You don't want to make those bad plays where you give back over the lead. And right now, I mean, this mid lane is just such a standstill. You do have Vladimir with some farm over the Mordekaiser, but really nothing going on here. As I'm speaking, they're going into a big skirmish.
Yeah, they've been brawling back and forth, but they are both manaless champions with a lot of sustain. So they have, like, actually, we look at them, neither of them have even backed yet. It's been 8 minutes in the game, and neither have had to go home for how much sustain they have. Ooh, we do see Jax take a bad trade in the back line. Oh, in the bottom lane, we do see the Thresh and the Pike hook each other in. They're both level 6 on their side here, trying to poke them down, but they actually do not get much damage off and actually eat a lot more. But we do see Dark Eclipse is hanging around nearby.
Yeah, and the double longsword's really coming through there for Mini Tank, getting that extra damage there and able to pull 2T Weef off of him and able to kind of stop the trades going down. But that lead in the CS department is getting worse down there on the bot lane. You have to be careful. Here in the top lane,
oh, the Mike turn around and gets a lot of knockup. They do pop both their ults. Frog is going to jump away, though. And meanwhile, back in the bottom, where we do see Lame Spider get hooked in by a bad diver, and now he's having to try to avoid the colon coming in afterward. They do teleport the Vladimir in here, so they are going to keep everything safe at the moment. That actually might give them the opportunity to go for the dragon. Oh, Vladimir walks right into the hook, and he's going to use his blue gather and also has stress down. Oh, he has to go back in. Does pop his ultimate there. Does not actually have any support from his team, unfortunately. That's kind of weird. They had 4 members versus 3, and they kind of all just choose to back out. But as we did talk about, they're the ones who just want to play the long term, so maybe that's what they're settling to do.
yeah, and they've actually been pretty successful so far. You haven't really given up too many big leads so far. You've been doing well in the CS, and they're building up these items. I mean, Jax is getting pretty close there to finishing his first item, and I think he's going to be the first one in the game to have that. I mean, depending on what happens in the bot lane, but with this misfortune a little bit behind, she's going to be really far on that first item, where Lucian is so close to his Blade of the Rune King. And so we'll have to see what these leads really generate to, especially when those first item spikes start coming through and where we see the aggression level kind of max out.
And we did just see a mini tank on the Misfortune used a bullet time to push that wave in as hard as she could, trying to buy herself some time to get back there. Misfortune does run incredibly fast. Building Blade of the Room. Wait a minute. Okay, no, I thought she sold her. Oh, in the mid lane, though, they're trying to go in the Mordecai. Mordecai has his Conqueror. Is too much to sustain. He does 2v1s, and my account is hacked. Is stuck here versus the Pike. Is going to dodge the hook and be okay, but that's where we see the power of Mordecai with the Conqueror procs and all of his self-sustain. Oh, but Vladimir stuck here 1v3. Oh, they missed it. Oracle, he has no mana followed up. And he dodges the hook. He's got the blue suede shoes, dodges everything. Feels like he can touch his chances now, but unfortunately, before that, they do lose that 1v2 to the Mordekaiser.
And that 1v2 feels bad. My actually
and now Teeth Weep is here. They're putting everything into Vladimir. He's going to go to the pool trying to bomb and then dodge the hook on third time. He just popped the Pike and he's trying to go back in. Flashes out. Yo, he gets the bonus kill. He's going to try and kill Lucian. Oh, he gets it. He actually does get the 1v3. He gets 2 kills. This lets Misfortune get a play in the bot lane. And my goodness, that was an interesting play in mid lane.
3v1, my Axie Shack dominating in the mid lane, able to take 2 for 1 there. They do lose the trade before that, but that makes up for the entirety of it. I could watch that all day long on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to do to Vladimir. Vladimir getting 2 kills out of that, and meanwhile, that allows the bot lane to pick up 3 plates in a row now. So that completely, anything they would have gained from that play in mid lane, they completely negated it. We actually do see there's a 400 gold lead in favor of just 5 dudes at this point. Meanwhile, on the top lane, they're trying to gank here, but we do see a teleport coming in from the Mordekaiser. They're going to try and all in on the Poppy at this point. They're trying to commit. Oh, he does Mordekaiser have the ultimate? I don't think he used it yet. Oh no, he does not have the ultimate available yet, but he is healing up. We do see him super low. Here comes Warwick up the river as well. Flashes in, gets the fear back into the war. They pop into the Poppy, try and get the kill. They don't finish it off. She does get it barely at the end, but we see Sada trying to get out of dodge. It's not going to do it. So we do see the counter gank come in strong for Dark Eclipse, gets himself 2 kills. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, there was a kill that we just mentioned. It looked like the Lucian got hooked into the bull time, and right after that, they do clear the Pike as well. There's action all over the map right now.
There really is, and everybody just trying to make these plays. We see kills across the board, and I have to say that top lane was scary. And to see this Mordekaiser just going off like he is, only at 1-0-3 right now, that gives you nightmares for the rest of this game. And he's already taken 2v1s. You're scared to see if he can take a 3v1, and we're looking to see if he can capitalize on this pressure he's able to bring to the map right now.
Yeah, but we do see the Vladimir pick up a play for some of the mid lane. Does walk right into the same level, and he gets pulled into the Delta realm. Doesn't have anywhere to go. He's just going to try and run around as best he can. We don't see what the limit is, but he is going to heal it because he's Vladimir, and he is going to be able to survive the death realm. Oh, we do see Frog flashing, get the stun. He's super low, but they're not quite. Oh, he's going to go for the tower. He gets the empowered Q, and he is going to use that to finish it off. Jax is going to try and get that last play. Didn't quite get it. So we do see a kill back here, but we do see Pike try and jump in to get the hook, but does not get it in time. So that is. Now they're taking the Mordekaiser down. That actually is going to be a big lead in favor of my account is hacked on the Vladimir.
Yeah, and just as we're talking about the Mordekaiser, the Vladimir comes and shows us up and shows that he has been building this lead. And he is 3-1, but we'll have to see if this happens here.
Eat the hook, and they have a teleport coming in as well. It's the Poppy trying to flash in here. The Warwick is in. They have him suppressed on the turret. Kills back to back right under the mid lane tower. They are probably able to get the tower as well. They are pinging the bot lane. Mordecai to go down there, make sure that bot tower does not fall first. So they are probably to get the first brick at least.
Yeah, and 3-0-1 on the Warwick. Just as we're speaking again about the Vladimir, he goes down. But great team communication there from Howling Gale. And I love to see that coming together under tower. Even if you have all your members there, it's still nice to see it executed well.
Oh, and they're actually trying to continue the snowball here, trying to get the Rift Herald as all 4 of them are there. Just going to be no contention on the side of just 5 dudes. They're just going to let this go. So they can take this Herald, take it directly to top lane, and possibly get a second tower for themselves. Oh, Thresher's so close to almost taking it, but they both get stunned up by the Pike. Now they're going 2v4. Jax pops his ultimate, tries to go big, but he is not the late game Jax yet. Gets dunked on by the Pike, and so now they lose the Herald, and they give over another kill. So this is going bottom side up very quickly for just 5 dudes.
Yeah, and they had such a good time early on, but things are just kind of chaotically falling apart right now. And you have to find a steady point, some steady ground to stand on. Because if you keep letting these wonky fights happen and these fights around these objectives that you don't have everybody committed to, you're going to keep giving up this lead. And once you give up a lead to their team comp, I'm sorry, but there's not a lot of coming back.
Yeah, we'll have to see if they can kind of stop the bleeding just a little bit here, try and make some plays. So they are just kind of moving the lane assignments around. The Warwick, who did not get off to a very strong start at the beginning, he is now 3-0-2 for Dark Eclipse. So he's definitely feeling a lot better now. But they do need to keep the foot on the pedal here. They can't give up sit comfortable on this lead. They are only up then just a little under 1K gold, so it's not a huge lead. So we'll have to kind of see if they want to continue to push this and where they actually want to push that, but they are actually, he's playing around this Mordekaiser, so I think they just want to keep getting this Mordekaiser as fed as possible.
Well, and right now at the 16-minute mark, we do have some first items coming through, and almost across the board, everyone has completed it. So we're looking at these fights now, see how these item spikes are really going to affect these matchups, and see if maybe it's going to give the upper hand to this Vladimir or to this Misfortune as well, who now does have that Blade of the Ring King. But here we are, 3v2 under the tower.
Oh, yep, and they're going to get this tower. They are bringing everybody down here to follow the Herald in, so they are going to get the outer bottom tower at this point, just kind of leaving Poppy up in the top lane, who, since the rough start she had here, is actually holding her own again against the Jax as well, since he hasn't finished his Triforce or anything yet. He's not quite that scary point that he was at the first few levels. And so they're actually just going to play 4v4 in the bot lane. They are going to stop the Herald on the second charge. Does get the charge off. Doesn't do a whole lot of damage. They're just going to back off there. Interesting thing to note, though, is Ajax action on the Mordekaiser. Instead of going for the Rylai's or the other one, I can't think of its name at the moment. But he's going straight for the Merlinomicon, which is a really good item against the team you're doing with the Jax Conqueror, the Silas Conqueror, and his heal, the Vladimir heal. He's not gonna allow any of that healing to go on in the middle of a fight as the Mordekaiser.
Exactly, and that's where we were kind of hinting at those team fights later on, because he was building that item. He's going to be so huge in those fights because he's going to be stopping all that healing. Their team comp is literally all sustain almost. They have 3 members who are all about lifesteal or sustainability from abilities. And if you have that Grievous Wounds on there, it's going to play such a major role for you in those fights. And they're gearing up to really take these team fights because, as we saw in that top lane, Poppy can take Frog on Jax. Look at this top lane right now. Jax is struggling, and we'll have to see if that really affects him.
Yeah, he's actually turned the tables around big from how we saw it at the start. No, odd thing. Speaking of the items, though, actually they are looking to put a Genki. Does not land the change, is not able to go in there. Does have the Poppy ultimate at this point, though. Might just hang on to that. It is a very strong ultimate for Silas. But going back to the items, one thing I want to point out here is Misfortune went for the Blade of the Ring King. Any thoughts on that?
You know, I mean, it used to be popular. I mean, it still is viable, and it can bring some good to her kit. In this game, I don't know if it was the best decision, especially with how the early game was going. But that attack speed and that extra damage does help her out, and has kind of got her this CS lead. But here in the top lane,
they're going on to the Poppy again here. She does have the ult. Oh, they knock her out of it. Use it her own. She stuck him into the wall. Oh, she's gonna turn it though. He trades 1 for 1. Now Mordekaiser is up here with his teleport, pulls the Frog into the Delph realm and gets it for a 2 for 1. Move on the mid lane. We see Pyke just finish off a dunk onto the Misfortune and finish off that as well. So that is not what you want to see happen. Like, that was an amazing play on the side of its baby on the Poppy to keep that going for him.
and I feel like for just 5 dudes, you were pretty confident in your play calls right there. Your communication was probably pretty open, and you felt comfortable. And then all of a sudden, TP comes in from the Mordekaiser. You have an enemy behind you who can almost 1v2 you, cleans up the kill after that, and then mini tank getting caught out in the mid by the Lucian and the Pyke. That's not what you want to see from your ADC. And the gold lead continues to grow here for Howling Gale, sitting at on almost a little bit more than a 3K gold lead.
Yeah, So that definitely did not go according to plan, or at least it hasn't so far for what they're looking for, most likely. And during all the skirmishing back and forth, they also have picked up the second Drake, as we were talking more about before the game started. The side of Howling Gale, they just kind of want to have this brawly around, fighting around the objectives team fight group, and they're holding up to that pretty well so far. They've gotten every objective so far. In fact, actually, outside of the deaths they've had, they've not lost
Another
anything
caught.
else. Oh no, Lame Spider, he gets stunned up. They turn him into the wall as well. That takes so fast, but it is 3v2 now. They are part of the draw. They hook the Poppy back into the middle of it. Jax is going to go off and chase the Pike. They get knocked out there at this point. They do try and pull it in. Oh, they miss everything on the Poppy. Still alive. Oh, they are going to leave him to die. Tries to flash over the wall. Isn't able to get out. Meanwhile, bad one-on-one driver still trying to avoid Frog. Frog is able to finish that off, but now he is stuck on the wrong side of Mordekaiser. Leads past him, almost gets pulled back and able to dodge it. A few hooks going out there. Nothing's going to land, so it does end up being a 1-for-1. Actually, a 2-for-1 in favor of just 5 dudes, actually, is how it turned out at the end.
Yeah, and wonderful to see from them taking that catch out and really turning it in their favor. But you do have to be careful. Oh, and there goes a Zanya. It's just, little flare on the end of it. But
hey, at least it wasn't like the...
Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, at least it wasn't the actual, like, the actual stop watch, where it's a one-time use. So not as bad, but oh, they're not done yet. Trying to get in here.
Ooh, mini
do hook the Mordekaiser back in, not able to quite get him. But it takes eats a lot of the culling though. And then we see that my account is Hackett pulled back in as well. So that's a 4v2, and they just kind of oopsie daisy.
Yeah, that's kind of a feels bad man right there, and unfortunate to see that go down. But they didn't give over any kills, so no harm, no foul. They're gonna go back and reset. Meanwhile, HGG do have the pressure right now and do have the priority, and they're gonna look to push on the next objective that they want to force.
Yeah, it looks like they are setting up around the Baron. They try to hook up out that recall. Not quite good. Mini Tank is up here by himself. Does need to be careful. Does not have much mana to keep the wave clear, and doesn't want to get hooked in at this point. Warwick is hanging around as well. But yeah, they're trying to control the Baron, it looks like, at this point. They do have the Blade of the Rune King sitting on Lucian. Mordekaiser does a ton of damage to the Baron at the moment, or with his new kit.
Oh,
and he's pushing the mid lane. Oh, they're trading back and forth. He gets knocked up. Oh, he is able to get the kill there at the end. He is able to use the Conqueror Sustain to keep himself alive, and he does have the Triforces now as well. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, we do see them try and push it in, keep control as much as possible. But now we are starting to the point that if Jack's able to start winning these 1v1s on repeat, that's where it starts getting a little scary on the side of Howling Gale. Meanwhile, we do see two teams. We've almost get eat by the Warwick ult, and it is able to flash over the wall and get himself to safety. He also had to use the heal as well. But yeah, both teams are just need to be careful by getting caught out so often.
They really do, and we've seen both ADCs at this point kind of be caught out, not surrounded by any of their team members. So it's really going to be interesting in these late games, because I don't feel like it's going to be better comp wins. I feel like it's going to be who gets caught out and who loses their team the game. And having that on a knife's edge like that makes this game so much more fun, because we're going to get these explosive, huge team fights coming up in the next few minutes.
Yeah, it could get interesting. We're starting to hit some of the big power spikes here. Like the Jackson does have his Tiamat, and his Triforce is working on the Spear of Sojin. Once he has that, the split pushing is going to be monstrous. We do see that the Mordekaiser has his Rylai's as well. Makes it so much easier for him to control a team fight. And we just see both teams all kind of run around the same jungle, just kind of 5-man grouped up, trying to get this dragon, trying to get themselves the Ocean Drake, which is a really strong Drake to have at the moment here. So we do see both teams want to dance around it. Oh, the double pull is a bit scary. It actually puts Misfortune down to half health. So they are trying to... Oh, they all actually are going to go to Mordekaiser, force the flash out, but in the background they do put the bullet time. Not able to get anything with that as well. They're trading back and forth, but we do see the ults go off all in the middle of the fight. And meanwhile, in the backline, the Lucian goes down as well. Mordekaiser's in the mid. He's big, but oh, it is going upside for Howling Gale. Oh, Mordekaiser's still in here. He's trying to sustain up as much as possible, but the Pike dunks are coming out. And so at this point, it just ended up being an ace in favor of Howling Gale. The Mordekaiser's still almost full HP.
And that fight was all over the place. You would have to have 5 sets of eyes to watch that fight and see everything that happened. But craziness across the board, ultis flying. And in the end, the 2 tanks are left standing with the Mordekaiser, like you said, almost full health, sitting at 5-1-5, 2 items completed, and that strength is really showing through, especially with the longevity of that team fight and how healthy he stayed.
Yeah, and that's not the kind of fights that we've been talking about Howling Gale exactly wants to have. When everybody balls in there and gets just stacked up on top of each other, the Poppy is super happy, Mordekaiser is extremely happy, the Ward got a good suppression off onto the Jax in the middle of the fight, so Jax couldn't get his stun off either. And so at this point, the Dragon is still up as well, and they still have full priority over it. The Poppy is a little bit low health, but should be a fight. Actually, almost has their ult back up as well. In fact, they actually almost all have their ults up as backup as well, except for the Mordekaiser. So they're ready to go again. The Pike is in and gets a beautiful 2-man stun off. They're going in here. Frog is down to 5 HP. He tries to jump out, goes down. They do get off the illusion down in the background. They do hook in the Mordekaiser. He is starting to heal back up as well. Oh, he gets stunned up. They shot him down as well. Dark Eclipse is trying to get away. Gets killed by his own ultimate. They try to knock him out on the side of its baby with the Poppy, but not is just going to try to run away. Not able to get. Oh, gets hooked in at the end of the chain. So they stuck around too long and give the Drake back and a bunch of gold over. The Mordekaiser got shut down in the middle of all that.
I don't even know what to say anymore. Just 5 dudes just took advantage of the most perfect moment of overstaying you could ever ask for in League of Legends. All of the team of HGG stood around this dragon, all at half health or a little lower, thinking they could make something happen. They try to commit on the 3-man, and it goes south quickly. They get wiped, and there goes the dragon that everybody was fighting for the last 10 minutes here.
Yeah, that was definitely just a bit of an overstay on their part there. As I was getting ready to point out there, everybody almost had their ults back up except for the Mordekaiser at that point, which is such a big game-changing ultimate that even though Mordekaiser is so far ahead, he needs to be able to use that ultimate to single someone out and get the advantage that he's looking for. And since that didn't happen, we just saw them all get cleaned up one by one at that point. Was a very close fight, even though it didn't kind of end up that way, but both people got super low on both teams. So we're still at a point in the game where either team can start getting a lead and start running off with it. Though speaking of leads, they have tossed the lead back over to just 5 dudes. They're now up 500 goals, so they've evened the game back out. And for the scaling team, that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, there's so much damage coming down there. Lane Spider just
they're going in again, trying to get the stun here. They are going to ult onto him, take him. Oh, just misses the ultimate. He's going to go down to the Coling, though, unfortunately. That means the jungler is dead, though, and Baron is up. And they are pinging to go onto it. Ooh, they are dancing around the back, trying to pull people back in. They are coming to the Baron, though, starting to do a little damage to it. There is nothing to really steal with. They are going to use the bullet time, take everybody down to about half health, but that's not enough to dissuade them. They are going to try and keep doing it. The Vladimir is here. He has his ultimate. They have everything they need, and so they're actually going to try and keep going at it.
Yeah, and just so much damage coming out there, and so interesting to see where we're at this game. We're cresting that 28-minute mark, and the game is still so far up in the air. I haven't had a game this close in a long time, and I love to see it because it means that every moment matters. Every decision matters, and if your team communication is correct, and if you can get everybody on the same page, there you go. And here we might have a fight going on. But there's just so much that can be said for both of these teams so far in this game. There have been ups and downs for both sides, and really having pressure points across the map in different areas, especially Frog starting to come online with this Jax, as we see its baby has to pop the Poppy ult, and we have a TP coming down from the Mordekaiser as well, but just a little bit off on the communication. It does look like they're going to go ahead and start Baron here. TP coming through as well. Misfortune is now coming to join, but they have a collapse coming down on this Baron pit for them. We'll have to see. And here goes the fight. We got the Mordekaiser going in. Poppy coming in behind. Thresh ulti going through. Misfortune laying down the ultimate. Warwick going down, and looks like the fight is going to go. Mordekaiser is putting down the damage right now. Can he do it? The threshold comes through, shuts him down, and it looks like just 5 dudes come out on the other side completely fine. You do lose the Jax in that fight, but it means that you can start this Baron up again and force their hand or get the objective for yourself.
Yeah, we're starting to see that the CC and the scaling is starting to take into effect here. If they're not able to get a few kills off at the start of the fight to get themselves ahead or get the actually snowball the fight, the sustain and the scaling is just like, just let them keep fighting forever. So if they're not dead, they'll just gonna win the fight eventually. So they are gonna clean up this Baron though.
I cannot believe that the Mordekaiser died so prematurely. I feel like there was so much more they could do, but he just went in 1v3, kind of at odds there, and just really was a little bit lackluster. And then to finish it off with a thresh hook, that's just really feels bad when you think you can do so much damage and you're left there sitting on a death sentence for 2 seconds while you're just watching your health bar get burned down.
Yeah, so that we have to see what they actually want to do with this Baron, though. There's actually it's going to give them a chance to take this gold lead and actually accelerate their scaling, and see what they actually want to do with it. It doesn't look like they're actually just planning on grouping up though and let Jax do his own thing while they do that.
Yeah, and I wanted to point out to kind of circle back to the items that we've been building here, and pretty much across the board for Just 5 Dudes, they've gotten almost their third item for everybody, and that's going to be huge for them, especially with this Baron buff. And honestly, here it goes. Wow, and Warwick taken down out of the fight from the thresh hook and just caught out. There goes the middle second tier tower. And will they continue to push with this Baron buff, or will they stop? Because they do have the pressure. You have Jax in the side lane. Mordekaiser getting hooked and going down. That is your front line. Misfortune laying down the barrage, but it's not enough damage there. And they clean it up with Silas here. Vladimir going through, trying to pick up as much as he can. Might be a little greedy, getting stunned up here. He's still alive, still sustaining, and they're just having their way with the base at this point. Just 5 Dudes came out of nowhere in this team fight and are able to secure this. There goes Poppy. Here goes the towers. Another inhib falls to the Jax, and we'll have to see if they're able to clean this up here. It does look like Just 5 Dudes are going to take the first game of the series and be able to start their week on a positive note.
Yep, Just 5 Dudes is able to scale a lot faster than they planned, with Howling Gale's kind of running into them at some bad points in time. Kind of, as we talked about, they wanted to play around objectives. Unfortunately, when they went to go do that, just had some bad fights and let the gold lead get away from them, and that just let the scaling advantage on the side of Just 5 Dudes just get way too far ahead.
Yeah, talked about way too far ahead. And you look at the damage charts and just see that 24k for the Mordekaiser. You gotta feel sorry for the man. He tried to put the carry pants on. He had the backpack. He had everybody strapped up in his backpack and everything secured, but wasn't able to bring home the victory. And just great teamwork there, great decision making from Just 5 Dudes, who really proved to us that it doesn't matter what happens during the game. It matters about those late game team fights. And if you can make those decisions, especially like the hook on the Warwick that just won them the game, that was a risky hook. That was a hook under tower. And to take that 50-50 play and just come out on top after that is just a wonderful sight to behold. And I'm really excited to see how they come back in game 2 and how Howling Gale come into game 2 with a fresh mindset and win and make this series go to a game 3.
Yeah, we'll certainly have to see how that goes, but we'll have to get the lobby assembled and get switched over there. So for us to do that, we have to take a short break here while we get everything set up for game 2. Do not switch away. We'll be back as soon as we can.
Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun, feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun, running, no, hold on, don't let go, running, no, keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for Game 2 between Just 5 Dudes and Howling Gaming. We're already getting to the picks and drafts here super quickly. same ones as before. The Jinx and Kane banned on the side just 5 dudes. The Vladimir is not being allowed this time by Howling Gale. They decided that was the crutch or the straw that broke the camel's back last time. Orwellian Soul still getting banned as well, and so we see some small adaptations already.
Yeah, so far we're getting some good adaptation, but I like to point out that even though the Morellonomicon came out for the Mordekaiser last game, and he really focused on trying to be that team comp heavy fighter, it really didn't work out for them. So I'm really excited to see that they went ahead and banned the Vladimir to get that pick off of the table and maybe choose something a little bit different in that mid lane. But we'll have to see, as we do see that Aurelion Soul banned out again and the Aurelia following that up, as well as just 5 dudes going and banning that Sivir that is such a strong pick right now.
Yeah, definitely a strong wave clear scaling AD carry. They don't want to deal with that, but they picked Silas first on the side, just 5 dudes, so they are going to focus on that pick again. That is their first pick from the first game as well. The Warwick gets first picked again by Howling Gale as well, so I'm not sure if Dark Eclipse is a one trick or not, but they are going to mix it up slightly. They are going to pull out the Jhin instead of the Lucian this time. The Jhin combined with the Warwick can be a strong combo, combining their ultimates. They can kind of pretty much just line up the shots. It's super easy, but it's definitely interesting that they're putting so much priority on this Warwick. He did get off to a good start, though, eventually.
He did, and I don't believe that that was the downfall, but I also don't think that he helped too much. I think that you have so many other good picks for the jungle position right now, and a variety that do different things as well. You're not stuck on these tank junglers. You have so many AP junglers, you have AD assassin junglers, you have all kinds of stuff right now. And to kind of go back to the Warwick that has been seeing more prominence, but still isn't the biggest and strongest pick in that jungle right now, is very interesting to me. But maybe it is a champion pool thing, maybe it's just a decision thing, maybe it's a strategy thing for their team who really want that suppression. But going through the rest of these picks here for just 5 dudes, we did have a Misfortune picked up again, as well as the Thresh. So keeping 3/5 of the same composition that they had last game seems like it might work out for them again. But on the side of Howling Gale, they wanted to change things up, and they pull out the Blitzcrank support here. And with the Gen, that can be so deadly.
Yeah, they're definitely going for like a full-on pick comp here with the Warwick, the Jhin, the Blitzcrank. They just want to pick one person, and that person's gonna die. But we do see just 5 dudes do ban at the Mordekaiser. They decide that, that pretty much was the one thing keeping Howling Gale into that game previously. So they are gonna try and take that as well, and they are also gonna take out the the Malzahar again as well. Just a kind of an annoying, super safe pick, especially is actually a very good counter to Warwick. Warwick tries to suppress in, Malzahar just suppresses him instead and just nullifies the entire engage. And the Braum ban, again, that is just a wasted ban. Howling Gale lost a ban in favor of getting an emergency sub in, so that is all that ban is.
I am really interested at the Sejuani ban, though. I do understand that Sylas can be flexed, but if they showed you so much strength in the Sylas jungle there in that first game, which honestly wasn't the greatest performance on it, but they did show that they rely heavily on it, why ban the Sejuani? Why not ban something a little bit different? Maybe something a little bit more priority for the enemy team. But we'll have to see if it works out for them, as Howling Gale do lock in that the Vigar. Sorry, my words escaped me for a minute. Which is going to be another just insane mid lane champion, and just has so much damage going to that late game as well.
Yeah, and he also adds into that whole pick thing that got going on here. You can slap the cage down, they stun somebody. They're just gonna do like a whole chain of CC on people and try and just, maybe we pick off one person, we could win the fight from there. But Vigar also does give you that late game insurance that he has infinite scaling. He actually cannot stop scaling, so that's gonna be kind of help give them a foothold in the late game as well. But we do see the Jacks get locked in again in favor for 5 dudes, not scared of whatever they're going to try and pick out last on the side of Howling Gale. Those are locked into Victor. For a very short stint, we did see Victor top, so we could see Victor top, Jack's jungle, Sylas mid, potentially. Is it highly unlikely? I would say so, but it is certainly a possibility.
Yeah, I definitely think they're looking to just kind of run it back. I think we're going to get the Sylas jungle again. I think we're going to get that Jax back in the top lane, and then that Victor's going to be back in that mid lane. Or not back, but in the mid lane. And then for the other side for Howling Gale, I'm a little bit questioning their pick comps here. I do get that you want to go for the picks, and I do get that you want that sustainability to be able to take those picks. But following up the ban with a Nico scares me a little bit because that means that your top lane and your mid lane are putting out, unless you go on hit Nico, which has kind of lost its steam a little bit, it's going to be very hard for those lanes to get ahead. And so they really need to be on their A game. And from that first game, I don't think anybody was on their A game. So maybe coming to the second game, they're prepared, they're warmed up, and they're able to execute, because these compositions, at least for just 5 dudes, is so easily executable and can be so strong for the entirety of the game that it's going to be up to these little moments and these decisive plays, as we've been kind of harping on, for Howling Gale to pull themselves into this composition.
Yeah, I am a little worried about Howling Gale's draft as well, because I mean the Nico does have the range advantage on Jax, but Jax is one of the few melee top laners that doesn't really care that much about range. First off, he does have his E, the counter strike, to block incoming auto attack, and he also has his gap closer. So if Nico misplaces herself one time, Jax can blow her up. So like, and that is not the position you want to be in with the top. And we did see that what happened last game, that Frog was able to kind of develop his own lead with very little help. So if he's able to do that again versus the Nico, that's gonna be a really weak spot on the side of Howling Gale if they're not able to keep Nico very far ahead of this Jax.
Yeah, and as we saw last game, I don't think that is a strong point for either team in taking those early game ganks, those early game skirmishes, because the game stayed so even that entire game almost, except for the last maybe 10 minutes where it really snowballed out. But to see the first game and looking into the second, I really hope that they come with a change of pace, because if they don't, I do feel like this game is going to be over very quickly.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how they go about doing this, because as you mentioned, neither team really executed, but in a game where neither team's actually executing on their comps, the team that has better late game scaling is the one that's going to succeed, which this time around, Howling Gale does have more scaling with the Jhin and the B-Guard this time, and the Nico, her burst, if she goes full AP, her burst late game can be really good if it lands, but it's definitely not like they're going to outscale just 5 dudes. Just 5 dudes with the Jax, the Misfortune, the Victor late game laser. We've all seen what happens if he gets an AD carry gets too close to Victor late game. It can get absolutely just deleted. So,
well, I think my biggest thing,
see.
exactly, and I think my biggest thing for this comp is they played 3 out of 5 of these champions last game. They know how to play their champions, obviously. They know how to play them in the macro setting in the late game. So you're pretty much just giving them comfort because they picked them the first time around, and they're more comfortable enough to pick it for the second game as well. So that's another thought going into this game, is that you're pretty much giving the same champions over that you gamed last game, which gives them an edge because they do feel comfortable in those champions. They're warmed up. They know the abilities. They're really feeling into it, especially coming away with that win. So that's another aspect of this that I'm really looking forward to seeing come to fruition there. But I do think that both compositions do have a bright side, or a silver lining, if you would. And it's going to be all about execution. I mean, that's the biggest part about League of Legends, is you can pick all the compositions you want. You can have these crazy G2 drafts. You can have traditional style drafts as well. But if you can't execute them, if you haven't been practicing the strategies, if you haven't been practicing the micro and the macro, you're not going to succeed. And so do we see Howling Gale come back into game 2 with a refreshed mindset and just dominate this game and bring us to a game 3? Or do we see more of the same, where it's really an even game, and at the end of the game, the just 5 dudes kind of pull it out with a clutch team fight or so? So I'm really excited about where this game is going to go and how these players are going to react to this series.
Yeah, one thing that is going to be a little better for HGG this time around, not the fact that they actually just have a little bit of scaling this time around as well, is one thing that these slightly, like, I mean, they're in gold, so these players sometimes do have some, we don't expect the big plays out of them stuff sometimes. So they actually, sometimes they come down to the fact that ease of execution. When you have a team that's full pick, that every single champion on your team has some method to pick someone out, that can be sometimes all you need to do to win these games. If you can keep picking out an enemy over and over and over again, that makes winning fights and objectives so much easier. So it might be a little bit of a crush at times, but if you're able to actually get these picks with the Blitzcrank, the VR Cage, the Nico Snare, the Jhin W, the Warwick ultimate, if you can get these picks off, you could use that to snowball a fight pretty
Yeah, and it comes so easily as well to some of these champions who, as soon as you get those certain item spikes, I mean, it's like playing a free to win. Especially looking at the Jacks there, who we saw last game didn't have the very best early game, but towards the end was just one of the key factors in those game-winning fights because Jax is so strong and because he can put out that much damage. But again, it's gonna be how these teams react to this game, and I just really think that early game jungling is gonna be a key to this because that means you're gonna be able to get to your lanes a little bit quicker. But then again, we'll have to see how this all pulls out.
Yep, we'll see how the junglers want to impact our lanes and how the teams want to execute their compositions here shortly. We are going to have to wait for everybody to get loaded into the Rift and get the game started. So we will be taking just a short moment to get flipped over into the game. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun, running, running, no, hold on, don't let go, running, running, no, keep running, told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running.
Welcome back, everybody, to Game 2 of the Rampage Premade weekend of the battle between Howling Gale versus Just 5 Dudes. We are going to take a look here and see if Howling Gale can bounce back and make this a 1-1 series, or if they'll lose out 2-0 as the returning returning finalists from last season. Though they get the second place here, they are going for the invade once again here.
Oh, the flash!
Oh, they get it this time, though. They get the hook in. He tries to counter-strike. Is able to get out. Oh, but I don't think they're going to kill him.
I don't think so either. I think that's going to be all for naught. And Frog having the quick reactions there. Love to see it, but again, I love to see it coming out of Howling Gale. It means they haven't lost the fight. They haven't lost their hope here. And that flash was beautifully timed for that pull, and just unfortunate they couldn't follow it through.
Yeah, so unfortunately, it is slightly a bad trade-off because that is both the flash and the ignite down for the Blitzcrank. That early ignite being down can be a bit of an issue for the early lane for a Blitzcrank and bottom, but they do burn the flash on a Jax who I don't think he leveled up his Q. I don't think he jumped away anywhere. So, or he might have actually. I didn't look. I actually do believe he did jump away. So he did start the Q. He is going to have that little bit of safety. But actually, Jack starting with his Q at level 1 is not the best way he wants to start that top lane.
Yeah, definitely not. And it does look like we're going to get in some pretty normal lanes, at least. Both top laners getting to their lanes very late, of course, because of what's been going on so far in the game. But everybody else kind of resigned to their laning phases, kind of taking it easy for now. We do see some nice trades there from the Victor in the mid, but again, Mini Tank just getting this early damage on with these Q bounces, and we can see why they want to keep him on the champion, because last game he really did come through for them.
Yeah, I think it ended up he had almost doubled to Weave his damage on Lucian was like 12k, and the Misfortune had almost 24k by the end of the game. In the top lane, but we do see what's stuck here. Oh, he doesn't have the counter strike level on, so it does help to defer the damage just a little bit here. But we do see what's going on with the having this range of matchup of the Nico, able to abuse Jax early.
And that's what you gotta, the only reason you take that matchup, especially with the Glacial Augment, which we do see on that Nico now, which is going to mean that there's only one build that you really go when you go that Glacial Augment build. So we're not going to see any of that craziness. We're probably going to see more of a team fight based Nico there. We'll have to see the grab down here.
Looking
Bad
for
driver, just baiting it out right now.
He's just flexing a little bit. Like, he didn't even throw out the Q. He's just making himself look scary.
Just walking around. And isn't that lovely when you're playing Blitz? You can do that. But in that top lane, I do have to say, so far, ooh, nice trades going on the bot lane. But so far, its baby is doing pretty well on those trades in top lane, sitting at 2 times the farm so far, and really having the pressure in the lane.
Yeah, but we'll have to see if he's able to keep that up. Last time he was in that situation, they lost a big fight there, and that's what turned off the whole lane around. Hopefully that doesn't hurt around this time as well. In the bottom, we do see Spooderman is taking a lot of damage as well. They are trading very scrappily in the bot lane, but that is kind of to be expected. Both the Jhin Blitz versus the Misfortune Thresh are both those kind of scrappy lanes that kind of constantly want to get that early edge against each other.
Exactly, and it's going to be about these farm leads and to see who can really farm up a little bit safer. Right now, Bad Driver just playing super aggressively. We'll have to see if he gets caught out for it, but coming in for a gank in the mid.
Gank coming in the middle. Yep, he gets the stun, doesn't quite get it in the bot lane. Oh. We do see Ignite gets traded on both ends. They hook the Blitz back almost in the tower, not quite. Mini Tank is trying to chase down Jhin, not able to get him, gets knocked up by Bad One Driver. And since they don't focus targets, they might not get any kills. That's a big mistake out of Mini Tank. Got a little greedy.
And that's just unfortunate in this series, because we've seen a couple of these mess ups by Mini Tank, but hey, he's still on the winning team, so it still feels good. And here goes Jax trying to get a trade in.
Oh, he gets the stun on the both of the clone and Nico himself. So that's what I'm talking about right there. If Nico's not able to use her stealth to actually avoid the stun, that Jax can run her down.
Ooh, nice trade coming there from the Vigar. And all these matchups have the potential to be such a fun, interactive matchup, and I want to see what's going to happen here in these next few minutes, because I do feel like these junglers are biding their time right now, but as soon as they want to, they're going to hit that action button, and everything's going to start falling. We'll have to see if they're able to get kills with these first rounds, or if it's going to be more of a sustained game, kind of like last time.
Yeah, this is definitely one of those things where every team does have a lot of safety as much as they do like their pick potential. Outside of bot lane, like pretty much every lane has some way of defending themselves from a gank. So it's kind of a bit of a jungle's worst nightmare. There's every champion in the game has a way of keeping themselves safe during a gank. But there could be one of those things, oh, it gets a beautiful stun back onto its baby to keep himself in his lane. It's actually stabilized the CS difference just a little bit for now. Immediately rush for the null magic mantle. I don't think he's gonna do it, but as a Jax, you could potentially run for the wit's end rush, get the attack speed, and get that sustain and the matrices. I don't think he'll do it. But I mean, I might if I was in that
We'll have to
situation.
see. We might see it. We might see some funkiness coming out here, but level sixes coming across, especially in that top lane. We're gonna have to keep an eye here in the next few minutes because sixes are coming up across the board, especially in that mid and top lane where we do see them all alive now. Ooh, I
Yeah,
expected her to go in on that. I thought maybe it'd be a better trade for her, but
yeah.
don't
So
see the
they're
full all in just yet. And bot lane coming up on that level 6 here pretty soon as well.
nope, they're just trading hooks back and forth, trying to get one of them to land. Because this is one of the big things is about the Thresh versus Blitzcrank lane is whoever can get that big hook off is gonna win the fight
Oh
usually nine
yeah.
times out of 10. So this is the kind of a lane where both AD carries are just kind of focusing on farm, poke where they can, but it really comes down to support what support can land their hook.
Well, and if you look at the game state so far, what we've seen is both ADCs just playing really, really defensively, and really you can tell that they're paying attention to their character marker because they know that if they get caught, it's over. And from both of these supports, I mean, you get caught by Blitz, you're dead. If you get caught by the Thresh, you're dead as well. So there's no real in between because once you get caught, you're all in or nothing. So we'll have to see who gets caught first and who really gives up this big lead in the bot lane first. But we'll see Silas coming in
You
here.
see the gank coming in here. They do have everything up. They try and pull him in here, but they kind of some miscommunication. They
Yeah,
kind
a little
of
bit.
jitter step there at the end. Don't get anything out of this gank. One thing I want to point out though is Two Teeth Weave has gotten himself a pretty good CS lead, and the wave is pushing towards him now in this bot lane. He's actually already up 13, 14 at CS already.
And he's also sitting on almost 2K in gold in his pocket. So that first back is going to be nice for him as well. So looking at that, they're really, since nobody's back in the spot lane yet, nobody's really looking to push this advantage so far. They really
They're
want to
going
just
for a
farm
gank
up.
though.
But yeah, they
We
are.
have
They might get something.
the old Victor gank. They don't expect it. Teleport's coming in from the top lane. The Vigar's coming down here. They hook in the Thresh. Don't quite get him. They're trading back and forth. The rifle range is coming down. Oh my goodness, they actually get the pick on the pike. They're trading back and forth. Vigar's able to get himself out of town, up the river. They put the ignite on the Misfortune. Mini tank is running out there. Health push is ticking. Doesn't go down, but in the middle of that, they did have a disconnect, I believe, on the Warwick. But that shouldn't have affected this fight at all. But my goodness, that got confusing really quick.
Yeah, that was it was so funny just to watch Victor walk into lane so nonchalantly, no boots, no nothing, just like, hey, I'm here, I brought the pie, and he just lays down the trap, actually gets some good damage off and is able to get followed up with his team. But like you were pointing out earlier, just a bit of miscommunication there. We didn't see Spooderman or Mini Tank move up until it was a little too late. But then the collapse coming through and all the communication coming through is just unfortunate for Lame Spider who gets caught out there.
Yeah, it was a really good job on the side of Howling Gale to communicate throughout that game because, well, they just had to back up, and the Blitzcrank was able to pull in the Thresh to mess up his hook as well, so they weren't able to use the Thresh engage at all. They blew all those summoners as far as Misfortune and Thresh go. They don't get anything out of it. They only blew the Flash and one ignite, and then also both the Flash and Teleport out of the mid lane to have that fight go in their way. So there is going to be the advantage in mid lane as far as summoner spells go, but Vigar getting a kill and getting a bunch of gold out of a roam like that as a Vigar, like, you're usually pretty happy with that.
Exactly, and just that's the biggest thing I've always noticed about people who play Vigar and really just the champion in general is I've played with so many people who get so tilted early on as him, who start losing a couple kills or aren't doing so well in lane, and it's like, I'm quitting, I'm done. I was like, no, you just keep going. You get to like the 25-minute mark, you're sitting at 1,000 AP because of your stacks, and you're just like, okay, I feel okay now. Those deaths early doesn't matter when I'm one-shotting the entire team with my kit. So it's always about that prolonged mental strength and being able to go through the paces as the Vigar and coming out on the other end with 1,000 plus AP.
Oh yeah, definitely. The Vigar gonna be very happy with that. Already has the Lost Chapter, so he's gonna be able to stay in lane a lot longer. Is down a little bit of CS on as far as the Victor go, but having that kill is gonna bridge that gold gap for him in the meantime. So as long as he doesn't die to the Victor in lane while his flash is down, shouldn't be a big issue. While Victor does have a lot of poke and some kill pressure, it's not like an assassin level of a kill pressure. You're not going to be worried about Victor running you down usually.
Exactly, and these compositions are really just going to be about the picks. Even in these team fights, I mean, it's really good. I doubt any team fight's really going to be started without some big pick potential, except for maybe the Jacks going in or things like that. But I really think that these team fights, especially in the next maybe 10 minutes or so, are all going to be started because of somebody being out position.
Yeah, it's going to be the big difference maker there. Like we saw in that bot lane fight, what happens when just one good hook lands on either side. Turned out to be the Blitzcrank that time around, and completely kind of changed the dynamic of the fight, where the Thresh was no longer able to kind of support the way he wants to, and he had to back out the fight and run up the river. They were trying to chase down the Vigar as the fight was happening up, and while that was going on, the Jin was able to open up with his ultimate, and then just able to pick off Lane Spider, who was trying to get out of the middle of all the cage and the CC that was going on for him.
Yeah, and Silas is just not tanky enough, especially in the early paces there of the game. And you just saw the ulti comes out from the Vigar, and health bar just diminishes completely. And so those fights are going to be monumental to the rest of the fights, and how these fights are going to play out. Just like you said, it's going to be about these picks, and as we've been talking about it the whole time, I thought that Ajax might die when we get back into the game, but he does not. Walks away with a little sliver of health, and as we see, Frog still getting bullied up here in this top lane.
Yep, so we are back into game now at this point. So they do take the gentleman's agreement coming out of the pods. Everybody just kind of goes their own ways to reset. At this point, they're going to try and shove this lane in as well, because mini tank is just way too low to stick around at this point. So the CS lead is going to kind of continue to grow as well, for as rough as it's been in this bot lane.
Yep, and the issue with that is you definitely don't want a Jin to hit those item spikes before you. But here we are on the top lane.
Oh, yeah, they're going in there. Jax is low. He's trying to sustain up as well. But here comes Lane Spider. He's here trying to defer it. It does burn the flash out of it. Baby, I don't think he really needed the flash there. So that was a bit strained on his part. But yeah, he's able to get away, burn the flash there. Did not have to burn the flash out of Jax. Didn't have to use his ultimate there. But that's a pretty fair trade-off. Half about the same cooldown as the Nico ultimate.
I'm a little surprised at that kind of fight there. I'm surprised that Frog got out with so little health, but here we are. Ajax might be caught out.
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. He didn't have his flash, and Vigar's not exactly the most mobile character, so he actually just got back to lane as well. Was trying to put a ward down, and he got picked out that way, and so that's gonna let the goal continue to the victor, which is gonna kind of help accelerate his lead.
Yep, and we'll have to see where they want to go with these gold leads that they've gotten here so far. We do see some attention being paid down here in the bot lane, with Blitzcrank trying to make some plays. They do have a ward there. Going to go ahead and get that ward out of there. Maybe Dark Eclipse can come in and try and get something going.
Yep, and we see a teleport come out of its baby in the top lane, gets stunned up immediately by the Jax, and Jax is not scared of this matchup. Uses a Conqueror to try and keep himself sustained up as well, also burning through his corrupting potion to keep himself topped up. The Nico doesn't have any potions actually, so if he can keep taking these kind of like short trades that come out even, he can sustain back up each time.
That's a ton of sustainability there as well, but looking at the first backs here for these bottom lanes, you got a Cutlass for the Misfortune, but you have a BF Sword and a Pickaxe for the Jin. And you wonder why a couple shots just brought Misfortune down to half health. Here we are in the bottom lane.
Wow. Exactly what we're talking about there. You get that one hook off, and they have to just take all this damage just to keep Thresh alive. That means both of them are just sitting at 1/4 HP. Oh, the fourth shot comes down out of Jin. He says thank you, and that's gonna be so bad. That's a kill. A wave was getting ready to crash, and they're gonna get plates out, and they get the hook. Oh no, the bot lane is looking ugly right now on the side of 5 dudes.
Mini Tank walking up while he has the 4-shot. That's not the first time we've seen that from this ADC. But Spooderman, who's been doing so good, gets caught out there trying to back.
Oh, in the mid lane though, they do knock up the Victor. They hook him back in. Also, they get the Ignite, and that goes down as well. And the Nico ult comes down. They try to ult out on the Silas using the Oracle. I know he might get away from this. He is did use everything to kill the Jax as well, but man, this time around, Howling Gale has a 3K gold lead in 12 minutes.
Yeah, a lot different from the last game, which was just that slugfest that lasted forever. We already are at more kills than we had for a lot of the games. We do have another disconnect here from Dark Eclipse, and it looks like we might be having some internet issues.
Yeah, he's having difficulties on the previous fight as well, so we're gonna see if hopefully he can get that resolved quickly or not. So we'll kind of give the teams a few moments here to kind of get themselves situated, see if we can get Dark Eclipse back into the game quickly. Hopefully it doesn't take too long. They do have the pause time limit though. Hopefully we don't go through that whole duration.
Yeah, hopefully not. But looking at these team comps again, I mean, things are going beautifully for Howling Gale. A lot different from the last game. And really, it's been Dark Eclipse on this Warwick just making the rounds around the map. But really, this bot lane and the mid lane have just been shining this entire game. And to see that they're getting the lead in the top lane, they have a decent gold deficit there going for them in the bot lane. But the mid lane needs to be a little bit more prioritized because Vygar is starting to hit those power spikes. He's about to finish his first item here, but you've got to help him cross that line and start really snowballing to get that AP bonus that he will be getting.
Yeah, so like in the mid lanes, it's pretty much a dead even as far as gold goes. Well, Vygar's only down 100 gold despite being down 20 CS. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Jin is currently up 1,600 gold on the Misfortune. Like he's a BF sword and a dagger ahead of the Misfortune as far as gold goes. Also on the top lane, Nico is 1K gold in front of past the Jax at the moment. So that's where the two big differences in gold are showing at this moment. So Vygar's happy just to sit mid and do nothing. If they don't actually start doing anything to him seriously or start like fixing this top and bot lane, the gold leads are just gonna continue to accelerate. It could get ugly pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's what I think we're leaning towards right now is a big snowball coming in for Howling Gale. But it's going to be about how Just 5 Dudes react to this. If they can put a stop to the snowball and really use the strength that their team comp have kind of developed, especially the Victor in the mid who's started to develop a really good CS lead there. But they've got to use that potential. They've got to use that pressure and focus on it because right now they're trying to help all of the other lanes and it's just not working out for them.
Yeah, we'll have to kind of see how they go about fixing this here as we're still kind of waiting for Dark Eclipse to get himself back in the game. While we actually wait for him to get back in, speaking of Dark Eclipse, he is kind of the same thing as the first game. This Warwick pick that they keep focusing on so hard. Luckily, they haven't had to rely on it much this time around, but it hasn't really done anything. He's still down gold on the Silas. You know, Silas had that early death. He still got the assist and got himself a little gold as well. The Warwick hasn't really impacted anywhere. He did get the assist in the top lane right before the disconnect happened, so he is doing a little bit, but we're still waiting to see why the focus on this pick.
Well, I have to say one thing that I have seen from him so far in these two games is he's just everywhere on the map. And that is something, at least. As a jungler, being able to have presence across the map and keeping all of the lanes afraid of a gank is a lot more impactful than you might think it is. Especially in these high-tension pressure situations where people are scared of messing up and people are scared of making mistakes. It can give a lot of pseudo-pressure to your team.
With that, and also with these, when you have these lanes that are ahead and just need to stay ahead, sometimes you just need to be nearby. Like, if you can be there to come to a fight as soon as one breaks out, I'm pretty sure that's what happened in top lane. And because the camera wasn't quite on there when it happened, it was, I'm pretty sure he was just kind of hanging out on the river. The fight broke out, and he's the first one to respond, which, as a jungler, you can take that, especially if all three of your lanes are winning. Sometimes all you gotta do is just keep farming, keep getting your gold as much as you can. Would like to see him focus up on objectives just a little bit. There hasn't been anything done with the dragon. It is just an air dragon, so a lot of people don't care for it. It's my favorite personally, but I get that's not the best dragon.
You just like to go fast.
Pretty much. I just have to go vroom vroom, and unfortunately that's not everybody else's. Nobody shares that opinion with me, but we are still just kind of hanging out here seeing what's going on. We might
Yeah, we'll have to see if this just ends up being a full disconnect, but it does seem like there's some weather problems around, so we'll have to see what works out here. But until then, we're going to go ahead and send it to a little break here while we get everything figured out. But please do not touch that browser, and we'll be right back.
Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I went out. Run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that pause there. We were able to get the Dark Eclipse reconnected, and we are getting back into the game here. So the teams are going to kind of settle back in. Hopefully, we don't have any more disconnect issues. We are going to see how that goes. But as we were kind of discussing before, we do need to see how Howling Gale wants to continue pushing their leads here. They pretty much have a lead. They have a lead in top. They have a lead in bot lane, and jungle and mid are tied. So pretty much everything is looking really good for Howling Gale at the moment.
Yeah, and it's going to be about these next few minutes. And after this long pause, are people going to get caught out?
They landed the hook on the bad driver. Yep, he gets hooked in. He's down to half health, gets exhausted. They are going to put the bull time as well. He's going to ult out, or he's going to flash out of there, keep himself somewhat safe. That's a lot expended, though, to try and kill him.
Yeah, but that would have been a huge gold pickup there for Mini Tank. And honestly, for this bot lane, who's just getting a little bit too far behind here. But we do see in the mid lane... Uh-oh. And this Victor playing very aggressive, but able to put out the damage. Ooh, the flash coming out quick. Good reactions from Ajax there on the Vigar.
Yeah, that was a beautiful flash to keep himself safe. But it's kind of like his flash had just come back up and he lost it again. That can be a little frustrating, but I think he will take being alive as a fair trade-off for that kind of thing.
Yeah, especially because if he would have died there, I mean, that lane is just gone for him. So We'll have to see how that goes. But turret plate's about to go down. I thought maybe they try to push down here, but gank going through. Lame spider.
Oh, he gets hooked back in and gets blown up immediately. That's kind of what we're talking about. That's a miscommunication. The bot lane was not up there with him when he walked in for that gank. Basically, got 1v2'd by the Blitzcrank and the Jhin. Uh-oh, the teleport's coming from the V-Guard. They're going to slow him down. They're going to try and flash out. Gets hooked. Oh, they missed a hook, actually. Gets him pulled back in on mini tank. Thresh is not able to do anything at this point. Just had to watch his AD carry die because he whipped. And now he has to kind of deal with his mistake.
And that was like shoving a knife in somebody's stomach and twisting it over and over again because the fancy feet just kept coming out from mini tanks. They couldn't secure the kill. Finally, Vigar ults down, and Frog in this top lane getting manhandled so far by Baby.
Yeah, and Frog trying to go for the kill, trying to chase him down, but gets blown up as well. So this game is just kind of exploding. We are not even 15 minutes into it, up to a 4K gold lead nearly. So everything's looking really good. Still haven't quite got any objectives yet, but they are looking to kind of set up towards Air Drake most likely. But they're just happy to sit on their gold leads. Actually, kind of chose the Blitzcrank, sent them over the wall, almost gets hooked in. So
Lame Spider had no idea what to do with that. He could have easily taken the Blitzcrank out with all of his team there, but he saw Blitzcrank just end up over the wall and just kind of freaked out for a mini second. And by the time he realized what was happening, it was too late and he wasn't able to get him.
Oh, but here they are trying to gank on the my account. They do get the hook on him. He doesn't have his flash. They are going to try and drop the cage. Gets blown up by the Jhin as well. So now this bot lane lead is starting to spill over into the mid lane. They're going to just kind of hang out here, see what they want to do. The plays have fallen finally, so can't get any more of those. But they're going to get another tower. Oh, actually gets stunned up in the top lane. Oh, is he going to actually die for it? Gets shut down solo by the Jax. Going to kind of even up that gold just a little bit. Small bit of a mistake, not too costly. Does have the teleport up shortly. Might be able to get back in the top lane in time, but yeah, that was a bit of a mistake.
See the Cloud Drake go down, but I guess not. Apparently nobody likes your Drake.
Yeah, nobody likes my Drake, it seems like they're actually just gonna let it sit there for the whole game at this point, which I mean, it's one of those things that I think even if you don't like the Drake, if you have the opportunity, you should still be taking it to reset it for whatever the next Drake is gonna be. So that's
I think
a bit.
That officially, if Jax gets this tower, they win the game. Oh nope, he didn't.
Nope, they scare him off.
He wins the game immediately. It doesn't matter. It goes straight to surrender.
That's pretty much what happens whenever Jax takes that tower.
We do have a lane swap coming through here for the side of Howling Gale, and we'll see if this can just quickly get this tower before the enemy team can react.
Yeah, because the bot lane is just now recalling on the side of 5 dudes. They are going to try and stun him up, but he's going to be 1v2. Tries to pop the ultimate. Gets down to half HP. Is dancing around, trying to get damage is good, but it doesn't have really anything left. Going to pop the Conqueror and the Counter-Strike. Oh, he flashes out of the stun at this point. So that was really well played by Two Teeth Weave. He keeps himself safe during all that with a beautiful flash timing. Probably didn't want to burn that if he didn't need to, but if he got stunned there, he probably would have died, actually.
Yeah, and I just feel like Frog is trying a little too hard in that play.
Oh, they got the dragon.
But there goes the Cloud Dragon.
Oh, but here they are going again. This combination is exactly what we're talking about. They get popped the Blitzcrank and the Jhin at the same time, but bad driver goes a little too deep. 1v4, not feeling so good about that. But they are going to pop the hook onto Two Teeth Weave. He's actually hooked back in. He doesn't have his flash. They literally just took it. He is going to get himself out there because Jhin is just too fast to keep up with. The teleport's coming in from its baby now. They're going to try and turn this. Gets the slow onto the Lame Spider, but he's going to dash himself to safety. Also gets hooked onto the clone. Oh, right into the bullet time. Super low. Going to try and pop the ultimate.
My goodness.
And they blow up Lame Spider. And they're so low at this point. Mini Tank just wants to keep shooting. Can't quite get him. Gets suppressed by the Oracle. Gets hooked by Spooderman. Again, they do pop the golden for the flare. Thought he was going to get hit by the hook, but it doesn't quite get hit. So, unfortunately, as soon as things were starting to look good a little bit for 5 dudes, it just goes out the window at this point. Oh, and my account is and he's going to have to burn his flash because he wasn't watching where the enemy was.
Oh my goodness, those fights just keep you on the edge of your seat. So much going on. And just 5 dudes almost taking the cake there and getting kills across the board, but nothing goes through for them.
Oh.
And the side of Howling Gale is able to just complete the wipe there. We'll have to see. Spooderman and Lame Spider might be in a bad situation.
Yeah, that turret's going to go down. And that's going to put Jhin at 9,000 gold. Misfortune has 4,700 gold.
Yep.
It is a
7-2.
That's a big difference. Like all the other lanes are like somewhat close-ish to Vigard only up 300 gold, but man, this bot lane lead is actually obnoxious at the moment.
Yeah, and almost up 50 farm. About to finish his first Zeal item, his second item of the game. Rift Herald going down now as well. And just so much going right for the side of Howling Gale.
Yeah, this is kind of how they wanted to go the first game, but they kept losing those mid-game team fights. I don't think that'll be an issue this time around. When you have a Jhin that this fed, he can really shoot anybody he wants. And also, one of the other big counters to Jhin is tanks. There's no real tank on the side of 5 dudes this time around. The Silas can get a little bit tanky, not really going that direction, though hasn't built any HP at all. And then the Jax can sometimes get a little beefy as well with his ultimate and having a little bit HP also. But he's looking at Frog's build right now, he's a long way from where he wants to be before he can get to any kind of tanky point at this point. So Jhin is just going to fire on whoever's in range and just blow them up.
Yep, and that's the issue right now. If you're the side of just 5 dudes, is you really have no response to this Jhin. You've got to figure out what's going to work out for you because that rapid fire cannon is complete, and he topped it off with another BF sword. So you've got to really be careful with that Jhin damage.
Yeah, they are just kind of wasted the Herald mid lane and weren't able to get anything with that, but they are just going to take more damage as well, just trying to snowball their lead as much as possible. Jhin is taking a little bit of damage there. But they get a hook on the Thresh here and into the Wargle, and that's what we're talking about. The picks are starting to come out. Every time, as the moment one person gets hooked in, it's over for whoever gets pulled in. They can't survive all the extra stuff that comes down here. Now we kind of see the panicking on the side of 5 dudes coming out. Both starting to double ward and triple ward bushes. So they're starting to lose what looks like their communication.
And to be honest, we've had some issues with communication for the last couple of games for just 5 dudes, but that doesn't kind of highlight that issue right now because they're just so far behind and they're trying to find something. They're searching through their brains to try and find a way back into this game. But when you're sitting at this far of a deficit, it's so hard when their ADC is rocking so much damage and you have no real hard counter right now besides the Jax, who still isn't doing very good in the top lane. It gets harder and harder, and here goes another pick.
Another hook. This on to Lame Spider, and that's what it is every single time. The moment that Blitzcrank hook lands, it's over.
And I know what band's coming out for next series or next game.
Yeah, they'll probably much rather deal with the Pike than the Blitzcrank this time around. They're pushing onto the inhibitor turret, probably going to back up at this point. Pretty much what they're relying on at this point, though, is they have Frog in the side lane still. He's able to get both the top and bottom turret so far and just trying to keep up and farm with the Nico and get to his items. So if he can keep split pushing, and if the Victor and Misfortune keep wave clearing, maybe they can stall this game out long enough to hopefully look for a good fight to start turning the stir around. But as of right now, it's not looking like it's going to last that direction.
And in these last couple of weeks of casting, I've always talked about, there's always a way in for a team. It's all about team fighting, all that kind of stuff. But then, picks come out just like that.
He went melee range. You do hook the Warwick under the tower. He's going to start eating some damage. He's going to flash out the safety, lose about half his HP. But my account is hacked. So just went like melee range into the Blitzcrank. He didn't have to get hooked in even to die there. And then we see Lane Spider just get blown up. And they both get blown by the Nico popping her Blossom. And then they are going to chase down Scooterman under the tower as well. Hook him back in just for the laugh. And yeah, I'm pretty confident to say that this game's over. There's 9K gold lead at 22 minutes.
There is not much you can do as just 5 dudes right now. But just as I was talking about earlier, we always talk about there's replayability, there's ways back into a game. But then as you start talking about that, picks come through and your hope goes down the drain every single time. Every time you think you're getting a lead, you're positioning well, you got some vision out in your jungle. All of a sudden, one of your 5 members gets picked off, you're at a 4v5, and you're losing that matchup again that you were actually starting to get back even with. Now, I'm not saying they would be even if they won a couple fights, but they would be in a better place than to just keep waiting and reactive to getting picked and having to deal with those circumstances afterwards.
Yeah, so now they're going to send Jax to the bot lane. Does have his Triforce finally, so he is starting to feel a little bit better. Also has the Kindle Gem, so he's starting to work towards that Spear of Sojin also to try to get to that scary Jax point as fast as he can. So they're going to have him in the bot lane. He does have his teleport in case the Baron starts getting done. My thing is, like, at this point in the game, it's not one of those games where like, if a team fight breaks out, Jax can teleport in, they can get to a 5v5. This is a game where they're just standing around Baron, and Blitzcrank is waiting to land a hook. He's gonna land a hook. Once he lands that hook and someone gets blown up, it doesn't matter. Jax basically has to commit to the split push at this point. But sending Vigar, who has an okay bit of wave clear to go deal with him. They're actually keeping the Nico with the team.
Yeah, and some good trading going on there. I thought the engage was going to go quicker, but here we are.
Down there. Oh, the Pop Blossom, it just blows up the Thresh. They try to count with the bullet time, not able to get anything. Lane Spider goes down as well. They do teleport Jackson, or Jackson actually just walks in, not able to get anything. My account is hacked, trying to walk away, gets ulted by the Warwick, and this is going to be straight to Baron, it looks like.
And that just feels so bad there.
Oh, here goes Frog. He's going to go in. He wants to make the hero play. He's so close, but gets feared out of it by Dark Eclipse. Pops his ult, tries to run away, and just dies. He tried to make the big play. It wasn't there, unfortunately. Just enough CC to keep 2 Teeth Weef alive. And so now that is a guaranteed Baron.
And as you can see, Spooderman setting up the red carpet, getting all the trailings ready for them, because they're going to be walking straight down that middle lane right into the base with this Baron buff. They are going to struggle a little bit with it on the damage, but no contest coming out of just 5 dudes, and they're going to take this free Baron for themselves.
Yeah, they are going to reset real quick here to kind of spend all this gold that they just accumulated. It is now a 13k gold lead at 25 minutes.
You get an item, and you get an item, and you get an item. Double Infinity Edge for Jin coming out. And at this point, I feel like that's the nail in the coffin for those team fights, is that Jin is just going to be one-shotting everybody.
Jin is just now, he's about a 500 gold lead short of being doubled of Miss Fortune's gold lead. He has 13,000 gold. Miss Fortune has 6,900.
Look at that damage.
Oh, that's 3 crits, and he doesn't even get the 4th shot off, and it's enough to kill Victor. Like, it's just so much damage. He went for the double Infinity Edge as well, so he is just critting like crazy with a maximum amount of damage. Probably gonna go for the Phantom Dancer at the end just to make sure he can't get popped anywhere. Jax isn't even bothering coming to base. He's just gonna try and split as best he can here. Not able to do anything at the tower. Just gonna try and buy as much time as they can, but it might actually just be game over at this point.
Yeah, and they had the Baron buff. They have everything they could ask for. They went back and spent all that lovely gold they had in their pockets.
They are actually going to teleport Jax in. Kind of weird to do it at this point here. They are going to try and pinch it. Oh, no, Lane Spider. He's trying to get the flank, but he's by himself, trying to run away. He doesn't even get over the wall and able to dodge some of the damage, so he's going to run away at the moment here. They are going to teleport. Oh, my God. What kind of teleport? They teleported right in there, trying to keep each other safe. So you do love to see they love to see the Fellowship trying to keep each other safe, but you just teleport to your death. Like, he's still not going to get away. He has to dash over the wall. Actually, they're going for a very goose chase. They're wasting so much time.
I think they're just having fun.
Oh, they did get the inhib.
I think they're just having fun with it right now. I have no idea what my account as Act was doing, knowing that they were in that side of the jungle, just face checks the bush, all 5 members there, and just gets burned down. That damage, though, Jin putting out the good... Ooh!
Oh, they got the 1,000 gold shutdown out of the Jin onto the Jax, but they do get killed back right away. Tried 1 for 1, but technically it was worth. Oh, they do try to keep him out from under the tower, trying to hook him back in, not able to get it. So they are going to get another turret. The teleport comes in from its baby just to finish off this tower as well. So they're trying to make plays, so you like to see that they're not giving up yet. Oh, here comes the Pop Blossom. Blows up. The mini tank, not able to survive that at all. Flashes over the wall, not able quite to get there, but then Lane Spider gets hooked back in. He gets blown up instantly. So, oh, he's about to kill. They're so close to killing people in all these fights, but never quite able to get them. Gets hooked back over the wall. Spooderman goes down as well. They have 2 purple cannon minions just shooting away at this tower. Yeah, almost enough to turn the tide. You know, it's good to see that the teams are still fighting it out, but yeah, it's just far too late. Oh, meanwhile, Dark Eclipse is going a little deep as well, not able to kill the Jax. Frog is going to try and get the kill, get that shutdown as well. Frog is not giving up yet. He's going to try and get all these shutdowns, get himself fed, but he's just not able to quite do enough. They have all these buried up minions. Pops the ultimate, does get the stun up on the bad diver, gets popped back up and pulled back into the cage. Oh, are they going to get the kill on the bad driver? They are going to get that. He gets another shutdown into the Jax. They're trying to get some kills back. Overstayed a little bit on the side of Howling Gale. Oh, they unfortunately, that's too much damage. Every time they get a kill back, it's too much. And now they're going to try and look to end the game.
The funniest part is Jin was literally walking around his jungle just farming and having the time of his life, looking at the bees and just observing the birds in the forest. And now he just comes in to put the end to just 5 dudes, and that damage is just insane. You can't do anything about it, and they're gonna take this game 2 and bring us to a game 3, and that's what I'm talking about.
That is a comeback. Like, after how first game was, they came into game 2 and just destroyed 5 dudes. Like, it was close, like the first 10 minutes, and then after that it just blew up. Like,
Not
it's just
even. I think it was like 5 minutes, and then it started going down.
Oh my goodness, the damage graphs are crazy. The closest, like, Jin was 12k damage ahead of the closest person next to him. He did 27,000 damage. The closest person, technically the closest person was Victor with 17,000. So he was just too far ahead. The bot lane just took their lead, blew it up, and had no issues just closing out that game.
Yeah, exactly. And just what a bounce back game there for HGG, who, like we stated before, were the finalists last year. And unfortunately weren't able to cross that line, but still were one of the best in the league. And to see them start off that slowly and that badly was a little bit sad. But to see them bounce back in this game and just really give it to just 5 dudes the entirety of that game, that's what you like to see, especially going into week 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see how the teams want to adjust going into game 2, because while I'm looking at these damage charts and stuff like that, the Warwick, the one that's been first picked by Howling Gale both times in a row now, lowest damage in the game, or second lowest damage in the game, did beat Thresh in terms of damage. While the Blitzcrank was popping off, like, I kind of want to see if they still focus on that Warwick or not. You know, it might just be that anchor they try and sit on. Hopefully it goes as best as possible for them, kind of thing. I would actually kind of like to see if 5 dudes are willing to ban the Warwick just to take him off that comfort pick and see if he can even do anything on any other jungler. But that could be a bit of a gamble.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they want to go with, if they want to change things up or if they want to continue going with this composition, because we didn't see that much of a change from the first game to the second game, but there was a huge difference in how the game ended up. So I'm looking for them to go back into just a quick recollection of what happened to that game and fix little things that might be worse off for them if they try it again this time around.
Definitely. We'll have to see how both teams take some time to see if they can adjust for the game 3, the final game of the series, to see what team can actually get a win in that win column this time around this season. Both teams are currently sitting at that 0-1. One of them's walking out of here 1-1 this week. The other team's going to go to 0-2. We'll find out who after this break.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear. Driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear. Like an outlaw on the run, dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, for Game 3 between Howling, Gale, and Just 5 Dudes. They're looking to see who can get their first win this season. Is it going to be the finalist from the previous season, or is it going to be just 5 guys, just 5 dudes, my mistake, just getting their one win going for them? Already, we do see some changes coming out. That we see both the Nico and the Blitzcrank band. They're not letting that through. Howling Gale's electing to keep 2 of the same bands again, are going to keep the Vladimir band as well from the game 1. Do not want to deal with that again as well. So we do see they think that the Nico and the Blitzcrank combination was enough to do them in. The Jin had a huge lead, but they probably think that was caused by everything. But here we go again. We see the
warring to him. They're going to steal it from him this time around.
No, that's still the same
one.
No,
I'm crazy.
We're flipped back around.
I'm crazy.
I would like to see that. That would be great. But no,
I thought it would be hilarious. But hey, here we go with the Sejuani being hovered here for the first pick. As we've seen it banned both games before, and such a pivotal pick in today's League of Legends. Sejuani locked in there for the jungle.
Yeah, that's one of those picks that just like it's almost hard to do bad on Sejuani. Like it's not. It's just the comment. Oh, they're gonna take the Jin for themselves though. They're not gonna let Two Teeth Weave have that again. They're gonna decide that maybe we can just take as many of these power picks away from game 2 so we don't get raffle stomped again. I'm trying to see what else that Howling Gale goes with at this point, because that's the entire bot lane gone at this point. But they're gonna go for the Tristana. That's another high kill pressure, light game scaling pick, and they're gonna pick it combined with the Morgana. So definitely a lot less aggressive support from the previous 2 games, but it's definitely a very strong support.
It just hurts me so badly when you see some, like, and this is just my personal preference and from watching games, whatever, being a little bit knowledgeable, hopefully. When you know you're going to lock in a Morgana lane, why not go the Caitlyn? The champion that counters the Jhin. The one that actually can do some great damage to tankier members, especially like the Sejuani, who you just saw get locked in, but you choose to pick in the Tristana, who does have that huge lane priority and the pressure to push. But I do think the Morgana plus Caitlyn is just such a deadly composition. If you're gonna go Morgana, why not go the Caitlyn if it's open?
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird pick, but the Tristana does have a very strong late game
She
scaling as
does.
well, and so it might just be like a protect the Tristana composition where they might just be picking Morgana just to make sure that Tristana stays alive and these fights can be picked on. We do see the Vigar get banned as well, so the Warwick will be the only same champion on the side of Howling Gale. They're not gonna allow any of the champion from the previous game through to Howling Gale. Decided that was too much. We do see the Garen get banned out as
Ban Garen?
well. That's a bit
That's a
strange.
little weird, but all right. I mean, hey, whatever floats your boat.
And that's not their free ban either, so that's a bit of an odd one. Just 5 dudes are going to elect to ban the Malzahar for the 3rd game in a row, just to make sure that Ajax Action can't have that. It is one of his most played picks. It is a super safe, easy to execute champion, so they're just going to make sure they don't have to deal with that. But yeah, the Garen ban, that's an odd one, because normally you see that banned in combination because of the Yumi Garen bot lane, but we know that's not going to be the case here because Jin and Nautilus have already been picked, so that's a bit of an interesting ban. They're going to throw the Callista in there just as their extra ban as well. Do you see the Corki getting hovered? The Corki is still a super strong pick. Just his late game scaling is obnoxious, and having that double marksman is super great for having turret destruction and objective destruction. But it does also leave you. The early game is really lacking here at the moment. With the Sejuani and the Nautilus, they are super tanky champions, but their tankiness doesn't take effect until as the game gets along. It is a lot of CC as well, but the Jin and the Corki are going to need some time to accelerate. If they don't get to their items or get a lead, they could actually have a hard time. And we see the Shen get locked in.
I like to see the Shen there locked in. Gives them a lot of mobility across the map, and the communication that's been seemingly an issue here so far. Maybe they'll cut that out with a Shen ultimate coming into each team fight. So that's a really good pick, I feel like.
Yeah, Shen Warwick and Shen Tristana. Both of those, the Tristana can jump in with the Shen guarding her, or just to keep the Tristana safe. Also, the Warwick ulting into a fight or running into the middle of a fight, combined with the Shen, can be a huge engage tool as well. So we'll have to see how they want to execute this. Do last pick the Nivea also, so that's kind of their late game insurance. Also with the Tristana and the Nivea, they can that's wave clear for days. You don't have to worry about wave clearing ever. And we see just 5 dudes lock in the Kennen. We're gonna have the ninja battle top lane where it's gonna definitely be a lot of pressure available to the side of Kennen, but if he's not there to stop the Shen from teleporting or anything like that, Shen can have a lot more impact.
Yeah, and especially getting the mid game where he becomes that tanky monster and where he still does a ton of damage as well. But being able to give those huge shields to your teammates across the map is going to be really, really nice. Now, I do think the Kennen can have a good time against that lane matchup, and depending on skills, he can't win the lane. But you've got to get to that point, especially because just 5 dudes are looking to go for that big team fight composition. They're not looking for the split push this time around, or not looking to do anything else but team fight. And so they've got to get to a point where that is a possibility for them and not just get picked out and lose these lanes early on.
Yeah, another part of that is Shen did just get buffed recently, while Kennen is definitely a very strong, safe pick for the top lane all the time. Has a lot of early on pressure, can kind of bully out melee champions. It also has a very strong team fight ultimate. The Shen 1v1 damage, if Shen is able to land his taunt on you, the bonus damage on his Q damage, I believe it's I think it's just bonus damage. I think it's flat. I'm not sure if it's the max HP damage or not. But Shen's damage did get buffed, so if he's able to get onto the Kennen, he can push the Kennen out of lane himself. And he also does have the respite where he can keep himself safe from auto attacks.
Which is going to be amazing, especially with the passive of Kennen there. But the biggest thing that I think is driving these conversations for me is this Sejuani finally being unlocked and finally being used in this game, because we've seen Silas Jungle from Lame Spider twice in a row now, and to be honest, it didn't look that great, especially in game 2. It didn't look good at all. So to give him this strong meta jungler, I'm really looking for him to pop off this game. I want to see him everywhere. I want to see him with the most kill participations in the game. I want to see him with presence across the map and helping every lane of his there, because I think that's one of the weakest points in this game so far is Lame Spider in the jungle.
Definitely. And also the Sejuani does have a lot of early gank power. They don't really have any melees to couple it with, except for the Nautilus in the bot lane, so they do kind of lose that synergy just a little bit. But Sejuani can help take this Corki and this Kennen and just snowball their lanes insanely. Like the Kennen top lane, they can get onto the Shen with the Sejuani ganks. Like that can give Kennen just such a huge lead. Same thing for Nibia in the mid lane. She does have some safety, but I started playing her a little bit today. That's a hard champion to play early on. Until you get your tier and your catalyst to get that mana sustain, you can be pushed out of lane super easily. So they could look to go through that route as well, or they just go bot lane where they combine with the Jhin, the Nautilus, and the Sejuani. Even though Morgana has the black shield, it's not going to last through all of that. That's a lot of CC coming out of 3 champions.
Exactly, and really the whole composition there. But I think both teams are bringing good tools to the fights, but it's going to be how those champions use those tools and how these fights are going to go, especially if you can get an early lead going. And where I'm looking at these early leads, I think is going to be this bot lane. As we saw last game, I mean, the Jhin was just so powerful and so unstoppable. But there was a moment where he was weak and he was liable to not becoming a snowball champion like he did. And so I think when you pair up these bot lanes, this time around it looks a lot more even. And I want to say that it's going to be a tough fight there in the bot lane.
Yeah, I think this game does come out of the bot lane as well between the Tristana and the Jhin. Whoever can get the lead first and sit on that, because as we've seen, Dark Eclipse has just not been doing much in the early game. So if that happens again, Sejuani can just have her mid-game power, where she's just so tanky and brings so much CC to the table that she's just a better champion if they're both on even footing. As far as It's Baby and Frog in the top lane go, it's been pretty back and forth. Both of them have played their lanes really well. It has probably gone slightly in the favor of Frog each time. He has a pretty good control of the lane. It's gonna be a little bit switched around. This time it is Frog taking the counter matchup for playing what he wants to do. So we'll see maybe if he has the front foot, if he can just blow up the top lane. But also mid lane, we kind of seen it's been this default 50-50. We're doing the same thing on both sides, coming out even. But the bot lanes, both games, is where the game has been blown up on each side. So we'll have to see if that continues to be the trend.
Exactly. And it's really going to be on these players to pull everything they've learned from these last couple of matches, the habits, the way that these lanes are playing out, and to use that to their advantage, because so far we've kind of just seen dry runs of basic strategies being used, but I really want to see them incorporate their strategies to the style of play that's being represented to them. But it's going to be a very interesting game, and a lot of CC, a lot of team fighting, I believe, and it's just going to be a fun all-around game 3.
Oh yeah, I'm excited to see how these games turn out, but while we get into the match, we are going to have to wait for everybody to load on Rift and get caught up in the game here. We'll just be a minute or two while we do that, so we'll be back here just a short minute. Don't go anywhere.
Take a moment right here, feeling like it's out gear, driving towards the sun with a rose and a gun. Feel the wind in my hair, going nowhere I swear, like an outlaw on the run. Dangerous, but it's so fun. Running, running, no. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running, no. Keep running. Told my boss that I'm done. Had no luck with my mom. Say, what will you do with your life? You know it's hard to survive. A cigar in my mouth. Maybe guilty but proud. Now I'm an outlaw on the run. Dangerous but it's so fun. Running, running low. Hold on, don't let go. Running, running low. Keep running low. Running low, keep running. I'm running low, keep running. Like an outlaw on the run.
Hello and welcome back, everybody, to the third and final game this evening between Howling, Gale, and Just 5 Dudes. It all comes down to this. The previous 2 games mean nothing. And as we've seen the first 3 games, we see Howling Gale, 5-man stacking. They're looking to look for some. But they also don't have as much pick this time. They do have the Shen Tom. We'll have to see what they go for.
Yeah, they got a ton and the root from the Morgana, so a lot of abilities being able to be used. I love to see nobody picking their abilities. Well, I guess Shen is the only one, but Bad Driver just looking to get a little bit of warding down there on the red side there from the enemy jungle. And after that, it looks like everybody's just going to kind of go back to normal. With Bad Driver taking a very long path down here, but they do look like they're just going to both get their bottom side jungles respectively and look to influence the map maybe towards the top or the mid, which is a little bit different from where we wanted them to go to, which you can still turn around and go back to the bot lane depending on pressure and priority, but it does look like they might transition up to that top and mid.
Something that's bugging me about both their wards, both teams warded the actual buff themselves. You don't put a ward there. You put a ward directly in front of the beak razor or the razor beak camps, and you can still see the jungler coming across there at that point, so you know what buff they started. Also gives you more vision. Just have to get that out there. Don't ward there, guys.
Exactly, and just very, very interesting here. Oh, and Ajax landing the stun there, starting us off right with the skill shots. Gotta love it.
Yeah. Oh, he gets another stun. Or actually, I might just be a little bit behind. But yeah, this is off to a rough start.
A little bit rough there, at least, but I do want to kind of... Ooh, a lot of...
Yep, going in for the
stunners
gank on the bot lane. Yeah, flash on there. Get the stun on the 2-teeth weave. Is able to get out with only using his flash. Is he another heal used by mini tank, and they're able to get out safely? This is wild.
Well, what I want to point out is that's the earliest gank we've seen from a jungler in this entire series. So they're changing things up, but Jin might be caught out here. Mini tank.
Yeah, going in there. Oh, they flash in, get the root onto him, and that's first blood work. The Warwick gets him early.
Yeah, and it's a lot different from the last 2 games we've been watching. Early jungle pressure from both junglers, both focusing this bottom lane. Unfortunately, Lame Spider goes in first, is not successful. Dark Eclipse comes in second, is successful. Takes down Mini Tank, who was just caught out of position there. And ton of damage coming down from Ajax in the mid lane here.
Yeah, we just see him. He keeps laying those stuns over and over again. So, like, my account is hacked because can't keep eating those stuns over and over.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. He does have a nice push in this lane, but again,
Oh, he eats another one. So, yeah, that's gonna get really bad when the Anivia starts getting some items. That combination hurts really bad.
he's just letting him think he's getting easy ones right now. It's all bait. Don't worry about it.
True, it's all in the head games. But another thing I want to point out is while we're looking at the lanes get started early, Shen is actually kind of way ahead of this Kennen. Like, he is gonna be like, he has that wave sitting at his turret. He's already ahead CS, and he has the CF. Like, there's more CS in lane that favors him right now. This is not how the lane is supposed to be going at all.
Yeah, and I do think I think the Kennen is pushing a little too hard in the lane right now. And a nice hook there.
Oh, gets him hooked in, rooted down as well. But he's still sitting on the flash, doesn't want to use it. Wow, 2-teeth weave is just bold. doesn't burn the flash. It keeps hanging onto it. They were trying to burn down Bad Driver. They flash in, miss the auto, do root him at the end, but they are gonna kill back. He's still staying on the flash. Two-team Weeb just not scared of anybody, able to stay in there that whole time and get a kill back.
Yeah, I'm surprised he survived with that much health as well. But Mini Tank just playing it super aggressively, just walking straight into them. And luckily he didn't get caught out too hard, but he does go ahead and pick up a kill for himself. And it's nothing like the Jhin we saw last game, but it is getting there at least.
Oh, and we see my account attack eat another stun E combo. And he is still up in CS, so he's not actually getting punished too hard for eating all this damage. Thankfully, Warwick is not nearby, and he's going to go back to lane now at this point, or back to base at this point to reset himself. But yeah, these early lanes are actually coming out pretty a little wonky, from a little unexpected would be a better word.
I think across the board, that's the same word I would use, because everybody's just kind of in a weird state right now. Nobody's really ahead. Nobody's really behind. I mean, you've got a little lead in the mid lane, but nothing crazy. Still 0-0 across the board. And this bot lane has been back and forth a couple times. The junglers have been super active this game. But it makes me feel like everybody's putting everything on the line at least. Everybody's trying their hardest to get this lead for their team in each lane. And we'll just have to see which one's dreams come to fruition.
Yeah, you do like to see that a lot of things will happen when teams get to a game point match like this, where they'll settle in, like they'll play super safe, they won't make any plays, because nobody wants to be the one who throws the game and causes the loss of the whole series kind of stuff.
Oh no!
You just get a good snare into a stun, and he had burned the flash to get out of that. They are going to drop the ignite as well from Bad Driver. Not quite able to finish him off, but do burn the flash out of him. So the Corki is his. You know, he's not going to have the biggest advantage early. He also likes to scale, much like the Anivia, but he would think he'd have a small bullying advantage that he's not able to use at the moment.
Exactly, and I just want to point out the CC coming out of Howling Gale right now is insane. And if they can layer that down, it's going to mean somebody dies in these fights. And we saw it there where my account is hacked, almost got taken down just from a level 5 Anivia and Morgana, or 4 Morgana. So it's very scary. At the same time, you've got to be able to be willing to drop the money on the QSSs or the Banshee's Veils or different things like that to prevent you from just being CC'd out and dying.
Yeah, that's an item they're going to have to invest in this game. With having a Warwick, a Anivia, a Shen, and a Morgana, you're going to have to do it. Meanwhile, on the bot lane, we see him jump in onto Mini Tank. Mini Tank W's the wrong direction after getting snared in. Tristan jumps in, gets it. Here comes the Shen, gets a double taunt, is able to keep his 80 carries safe. They can't get the autos off, and they are going to flash in, get the fear off on the Spooderman. Spooderman is going to be able to walk out. Here comes my account attack. Has to kind of W through everybody and doesn't quite get any kills. So close to going down, not quite. Two-team Weep is just playing this Tristana perfectly, though.
I was just about to point out, he's just sitting there putting down the damage in the front and really just able to do what he wants there. And I'm a little wondering why they didn't prioritize him a little bit more, but we'll have to see if this little bush here is going to work out for them. I don't believe they will.
No, it looks like they're going to be happy to push that back in. And the point I want to point out there is, they thought they had that fight won because they had the numbers advantage, but there came Shen. Shen just ulted in there, kept Tristana alive, and also dropped down his respite, which kept the auto off of Tristana. So Tristana's now off to a 3-0 lead at this point, and they're able to push in the lane to deny CS to Jhin. Anivia didn't have to come down the mid lane at all. So
and Shen TP back top, so you
exactly
don't really lose anything.
No real losses going to that play. Already have a 1.5k gold lead going into the 8-minute mark. And
perfect time.
He taunts him right into the end of the teleport. Gonna take some damage back. Is gonna get stunned back up in return, take some damage back. But I think the Shen's okay with that. He's just making a statement.
He really is. And although Frog playing really aggressively right now, is able to get a ton of trade damage down, but he is taking some good damage from the minions there. That's one thing you got to be careful with, Kennedy, is you feel so strong, but you take so much damage from the minions.
Yeah, over here. Oh, he just bought the ultimate. Oh, they're both getting super
low. They both flash.
Oh, they both flash. Oh, who's going to come better? Frog had the range, and oh my goodness, that came down to the wire. both flashing opposite directions.
At the same time. That was epic. Somebody clip that, please, because that was awesome. Frog
The
getting the
ninjas.
flash away with the extra range coming out from Kennen, and unfortunately, it's baby. Oh, and the suppression!
Oh, right under the tower. But now, here we go. We see Dark Eclipse. Like, he's actually coming on this game. They jump on the mini tank again. They're not scared. They have the black shield. Nautilus can't do anything. We're on the top lane. Dark Eclipse able to fear Lane Spider away. He does use the ult to finish off the Warwick, so it does trade back up in the top lane 1-for-1. But my goodness, this bot lane, this Morgana Tristana combination is just wrecking them. They just pop the black shield every single time. 2T Weave jumps in there, can't be stunned up by the Nautilus or anything. He doesn't do enough magic damage to break the shield, and they just win the trade each time.
And just chaos really across the board. Here is a play coming down.
Oh, here comes the package. They got the run, but he's by himself. Like, they're eating the magic damage, but they're gonna take him down. Oh, they shut him down eventually. That's a 700 gold kill over to my account attack.
Oh,
They're getting another kill as well. Eats a snare. And so that's actually a really good thing for the Corki at this point. Like, they got the shutdown and that extra kill in there, and they actually have Sejuani soaking up the experience in the mid lane also to kind of make sure they don't lose too much. Gonna bounce the gold out a little bit.
I just have to ask Josie a serious question here. Do you have your clown shoes and do you have your clown nose? Because we are here for this clown fiesta, and it is a wonderful time.
Yep, this is NA at its finest. You gotta bring your makeup up every single day because you don't know when you'll be called upon. It's just every time someone gets a lead in this game, they just throw it right back.
Oh, here we go!
Find some way. Yep, and go back on top lane. They are not done yet. Frog popped the ultimate again. The ninjas are popping in the circles. He's gonna try to get away, but he's gonna go for a snare. Oh, he's gonna go down most likely. He gets stunned up. Is he gonna get away? Oh, he goes down with the final lightning strike. So now we see Frog just taking over this lane completely. So the moment we thought it was going to be going well for Howling Gale, they took it right back on the side of five guys, or just five dudes. They've done a good job of keeping themselves in the game. Actually have a 500 gold lead at this point.
We were at like 6-1 or 2 a second ago. Now we're tied up at 6-6, and just chaos again across the board. So much going on in each lane, and unfortunately we end up back down here in this bot lane where 2T Weave is just doing so well. Shen ultimate coming in.
Oh, here we go. The Warwick has nothing to get out of there, so they are gonna get that right back though. So that's kind of the combination we were talking about back during the lobby. If Warwick gets in there, they're trying to get onto Ajax, and he's able to flash out, keep himself safe, not to return allowed to anything be got back. But going back to what I was just saying, that's one thing we talked about in the lobby. The Warwick Shen combination, it's so strong. It's literally a free Shen taunt after he comes out of his ultimate.
Yeah, and it's just insane. I just know that there's the biggest smirk on Baby and Dark Eclipse's face in that fight right there because of what just happened with the 1v1 of the top lane, and then you show up with the Warwick and Shen on top. You're like, yeah, this is what I'm really talking about. And so they pick up the money there. Just a ton of confidence coming back to this Shen, who is going to be able to play a little bit more aggressively now, especially since some of the other lanes are getting a little bit more snowballed.
Yeah, but one thing we do want to point out is they do get the snare on him. She's not able to jump out of it. Oh, has to burn her flash. And gonna get ulted up by the Jhin, able to get out though to the side, so they're not gonna go down today. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Frog is not done with his top lane. Keep trying to push it in, but here comes Dark Eclipse coming up here. Doesn't have his ult though, just kind of gonna run at him. But here comes a teleport from my account is hacked. He can't stop the teleport, so he is committed. And Nivian's already walked up here, already predicting the play. They wall him off, causing the Valkyrie over to safety. So both teams are reading each other pretty well at this point, but it's just a bit of a fiesta at the moment.
I think we're gonna get the same game as we did the first time around, where everything's generally even until one lane or one team just kind of blows it open here.
Oh, here they're trying to fight 2v2 in the river here. We'll take out the Vision as well. I'm not quite happy with that.
Oh, the flash.
Or gets flashed. Actually, he misses the fear on both of them, but he does so much damage. It's going to use his suppression. Not able to get a kill, but they're going to pop the kill back on the Dark. He missed everybody with his flash fear. Here comes the Kennen ulting it up. It has thumbs up both the Shen and the Anivia. Anivia does not have the flash or the cleanse anymore.
What?
They are, the fancy feed, able to keep himself alive. So it's going to be a small favor inside of 5-guy. But we're in the bot lane. Here we go again. Everything's popping off. We had the Black Shield and the Ignite. Down goes Mini Tank, and they're going to take down Scooterman as well. Oh, he's going to pull himself to safety at the last moment. But this combination of the Tristana and the Black Shield is just destroying the 5 dudes bot lane.
Yeah, I think this game is just so out of control right now. Nobody, even playing the game, knows where we're going right now. This roller coaster has no tracks, and we are just in it for the fun. Frog just having a wonderful time up there on the Kennen, but this bot lane has become a little bit out of control now with Tristana 4-1-1, having finished that Infinity Edge. Actually, both ADCs having finished those Infinity Edges, and really, across the board, first items coming through.
Oh, and they picked off onto Sejuani. They're jumping in here, gonna try and pick him off. But here comes Corki with the package. Is able to get a kill back on the driver. Oh, no, he's not able to. Oh, he's at the end. But they're gonna trade 2 for 1 so far. And the dragon is about to spawn here very shortly. Meanwhile, we see Shen teleport back to the top lane. Did use his ult to join that fight. Gonna try and keep his turret as long as possible. But this game is starting to turn into one of the win conditions we discussed at the start of the game. We talked about how we thought the game was gonna break through from the bot lane. And it's starting to go that way right now. Like, yeah, the mid lane and the top lane are going back and forth as we witnessed the trade going back and forth once again. Frog and Baby will not leave each other alone. They have a personal beef with each other.
They really do, and I thought that he might try and go the aggressive stance there and go for the tower, but playing very safe up there. And more focus down here on this bot lane. You have a Warwick taking a solo dragon right now, who looks like Sejuani might be coming to contest a little bit.
Oh, Teeth Weave is kind of sitting in a bad spot, but he knows he's safe. Actually, he has the vision on Sejuani. Gonna chase him off, make sure that they can serve the dragon in peace. It is just an air drake, so I'm happy with that, but I'm not gonna be the happiest thing for them. We do see the next drake is gonna be another air drake, actually, so it might not be the best choice for them. But again, going back to this bot lane, the difference is starting to get up there really quick because, you know, while the shenanigans have been pretty crazy, Corki has about a 1k gold lead on Nivea. Kennen has about a 700 gold lead on the Shen, but in the bot lane, Tristana is at 7,300 gold. Jin is only at 4,700 gold. So pretty much the whole gold lead is created by Tristana versus Jin at this time.
Yeah, and I mean, it's the same tale that we saw last game where the Jin was just so far ahead, and my account attack is getting wrecked in the mid lane. Here we are, 2v1.
Oh, Frog is going to try to go 2v1. He's going to go gold. Meanwhile, my account is hacked. Dodges the Warwick ult. Does go down to the end. Meanwhile, the top lane is now at 3v2.
Oh, no.
Anybody's going to get out. Oh, lame. It gets snared up in the river right in front of the scuttle. I guarantee that's going to go down next. So this Tristana, the power she's bringing to the fight is just way more impactful than this bot lane at the moment. They're trying to get the tower just to have an answer back, but it's just not enough.
They're trying, man. I gotta give them that. Nobody has given up in this game so far. There's been no tilt that we can see from the outside, and they're both just putting everything on it. I love it. I love to see it. This is League of Legends. Maybe not at its finest, but at its funnest.
Yeah, both teams are definitely, like, they're not scared to pull punches or anything like that. They are going to try and keep giving their all. They're at a point in the game where it's like, we got to keep making plays, and otherwise we're going to lose. And so both teams are going to keep going at it at this point. So going to be kind of see who can keep doing these big plays without making the mistake, because that's what we keep seeing. Is both teams go for a big play, and then someone makes a mistake right afterwards. So whatever team stops doing that back and forth will be the one who comes out on top.
Exactly, and it's really going to come up to one of these big team fights around these objectives. Yeah, the Cloud Drake is coming up next. It's not going to be a big priority, but the Baron is also coming up in a minute and 55 seconds. So that's going to be a huge priority for them. We'll have to see if they want to do anything, as everybody's transitioning up to this top lane to try and catch out this Tristana, but it's not going to work out.
Yeah, walk through a ward, had to clear that out to kind of give away their plan. They were bringing everybody up here. Meanwhile, they're sending Kennen to teleport to the bot. I don't know why he went for that teleport. The wave was nowhere close to his tower, so bit of a waste to teleport there. He's gonna try and chase the Shen off as well, but Shen, like, he's full HP and the Kennen is not. So
nice catch.
This fight. Oh yeah, they are gonna catch UTV, force the flash out him, but the Black Shield coming in just in time, not gonna get knocked up, and they are gonna try and snare back. These bot lanes are just not giving up on each other. But unfortunately, every single time Spooderman thinks he gets a pick, it's just a black shield in his face. Oh, but here comes Lane Spider. They are going to go on the 2v2, 2v4. They do blow back my account is hacked. But here comes the Warwick got to kill some. I'm a little confused what happened there.
The shield.
Oh, here comes the Shen there at the end. Oh, the Warwick and the meanwhile in the mid lane though. That's what I was looking at. the mid lane. They're actually using the Herald. Oh my goodness, this is a Howling Gale. Like that didn't go as good as it could for him. I got super confused to kill that fight, obviously. But Spooderman's able to get himself to safety. Gonna get out of there. They're gonna trade 1-for-1 as far as the top side go. But they got 2 turrets in the mid lane during all of that.
And that's a ton of gold going over.
Oh, Dark Eclipse. Oh, he made the wrong turn.
Mini tank.
He took the wrong turn, but he is going to find mini tanks, so that is going to be a consolation prize, and so they're going to be happy with that.
Yeah, and they catch out the ADC, which honestly has been kind of the story of this entire series. The ADC is just getting mispositioned a little bit there, and mini tank going down, giving that free gold over to them, and they're going to try and get Baby up here. As we see this happening,
have him stunned up as well. He's going to taunt through both of them, buy himself some time. Flame Spider walked away while Frog wanted to chase them more. So a little more of this communication issue we talked about. I think it kind of feels like panic mode on the side of just 5 dudes.
A little bit there, but they do have some good plans coming to fruition. I just think it's funny that every time we see action happening, it's somebody getting caught out because of mispositioning or overextension, and the team just collapsing around them. I mean, that's like the last 5 kills have been that happening over and over again. So I want to see if they break the chain or if they just continue this kind of I win, you win circle.
Right. Well, Just 5 Dudes is pinging onto the dragon, so they do appear want to fight for it. They do have the Corky package as well. They do have most of their ultimates available. So they could look to try and get this one big fight that they could use to try and turn everything around. They do chase everybody out of the dragon pit. Kind of have it to themselves at here. So they're gonna looks like
for a Cloud Drake though.
Yeah, we're going to see what they want to do with it, but the Jin's going to open up here, trying to keep it zoned off the dragon, but they're not going to want to give it up yet. Dark Cliff flashes in the middle, misses with the fear again. Genin gets 2 in the back. Warwick is able to fit out the dragon, but the bot lane for Howling is down at the moment. That's like all their damage at the moment here. They are going to try and get some kills back, but no one's dying on the side of 5 Dudes. Finally get the kill on the Kennen here, but they're so low. Dark Cliff gets snared up. Its Baby is super low. My account's going to get hooked back in, and Ajax is going to try and walk away here, but doesn't have really anything to run away with. Has to burn the flash, still gets snowed up, gets the stun of Sejuani, but goes into her egg right in front of the tower, not enough to get the safety. So that's going to end up being all 5 dying on the side of Howling Gale. And the moment we thought the game was over, it's not.
And all that happened was Corky got on the backside of the team fight and was able to take out 2 Tief Weave and Bad Driver together. And the rest of the composition for Howling Gale didn't know what to do after that. Well, we have 2 Tief trying to get some redemption
snared
here.
Up and ignited, and now just like that, they're back at it. They're going to try and get the crits off. Many things trying to run away, not able to get away from the rapid fire cannon. So, as we just talked about, every time a team gets a win, they throw it right back the other way.
It's just throwing each other under the respective buses over and over again. You just get one, and the next team fight comes up, and something happens wonky, and there it goes. So, honestly, I keep wanting to try to make a call on who's winning this game, but I'm just going to leave it up to fate and the RNG gods right now because we have
they're going for Baron.
But here's Baron.
Everybody's here, and the jungle is dead at this moment, and there's no teleport to come in here either, so it's just the Kennen and the Nautilus to try and find a way to sway. Kennen does have the ultimate, but doesn't have his flash, but if he can get into the middle of them with his, he could look to blow him up. Baron's sitting at half health currently. They are still committing to it, kind of dancing back and forth. They are scared about the Kennen.
A lot of health.
Yeah, here comes a Corky. They're all starting to get low. They're dancing around too long. Is that 2k HP? Like, oh, they do kill the Kennen. That was pretty much a big threat right there. So they are going to secure the Baron and get back out. Jin's going to try and open up, see if he can get any pick-off kills there at the end. Not quite able to. Dark Eclipse is chasing it. They're overstaying. They're trying to keep fight this. Go home. Everybody needs to go home.
Let's go home.
Oh, they are able to finally get Alpha. They didn't make the mistake of overstaying. They were thinking about it, but they do go home to reset.
That might have been on on just 5 dudes not capitalizing because they stayed for sure. They had to burn a couple of
unfortunately,
flashes to get out as well.
I'm not sure how the Kennen got picked there, but if he would have been able to get in the middle of that the ultimate, they might have actually been able to do the exact same thing of what just happened to them.
Yeah, so what happened was the Shin actually got a max range taunt onto the Kennen as he was going in for the ultimate with those Zanyas, and so he just picked him out perfectly there.
Tragic. Oh my goodness, this damage from the Tristana is amazing, and the Shin falling up to keep her safe. They can't kill her ever. Gonna dive in here. They're gonna get kills back. So now they hit the Baron. This might be.
Guess
this is
who
gonna look a little
another item.
Oh, they get on the Lane Spider as well. The Tristana is just too big, so they do chase. My account is hacked out back into the base, but that is just. Jin was in the top lane, not here to help his team at all, and Corki has to go back to base. So it's gonna be at least the inhibitor.
Oh no, yeah, that's that misposition we were just talking about.
Wait, they have a cannon. They're actually pinging. They're actually gonna go for it, I think. Oh no, they're actually bringing up the bot lane.
Yeah, I definitely think they're gonna try to kind of square themselves off, make sure they've taken all the approaches to winning that they need to.
Yeah, thankfully they're not going too crazy.
They've realized where they're at. They know where they're at. And here's some more fighting going on.
Yeah, they are still trying to fight as much as they can. The cannon minion is going to stay burned up, though, for the moment here. Not quite able to get... But Lane Spider goes in with the ultimate. Unfortunately, gets the Black Shield up, but here comes the cannon ultimate as well. They're trying to stun each other up. The Shin barely goes down. Frog is super low at the moment. The Tijuana gets suppressed, also goes down. They're trading kills back and forth. They get the hook on the 2-2. He jumps in while Exhausting gets blown up. What are they doing? They got hooked back in, and so that Dark Clip is hooked up as well, trying to take down Spooderman. It's about to get healed up a little bit, tries to get out, but it goes down also. And they just take a fight and they lose.
Yeah, man, this is peak of League of Legends right here. This is what we like to see. No, in all seriousness, I love to see all this action. It is back and forth and just absolute craziness every single team fight. You don't go into a team fight knowing who's going to win it because every time it's different.
Oh, no.
Right now, it's just so up in the air for this game. The double ADC composition is coming online for just 5 dudes, and it's really showing. Like in that fight, Corki's just able to put down so much damage for them, and it's just crazy to think that we've gotten to this point 26 minutes in where that composition is really coming online now, and as we saw, the cannon damage was great in that fight as well. So both teams really coming into their own, and the hyper carries are coming online.
That, no, at least, you know, and also as crazy these fights have been, and we're kind of laughing about both teams trading back and forth constantly. Every single time these fights been happening, Howling Gale seems to have a slight edge in who's coming out better. Oh, he got pushed into the choke and died, so they can't contest the Infernal.
Oh, they're chasing.
So that is Infernal Drake going on, and Lane Spider is stuck on the wrong side of the map.
No.
He's trying to change teams. He's trying to be a traitor at this point in time. They're all going to chase him, though, so this is going to buy some time. Oh, he comes back the other way, trying to be sneaky, but did buy a little time there. Unfortunately, does go down as well. That is an Infernal Drake going over to the side of Howling Gale, which is what they really want. They're going to regroup back to the bot lane at this point. Probably try and keep pushing as much as they can, see if they can get another inhibitor. Meanwhile, they are going to lose their mid lane and turret, but I don't think they're too upset by that.
See, what happened? Why just 5 dudes is losing is because they didn't go the double Infinity Edge. He went the typical build with Essence.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's the reason. Like, they might
as well
surrender. No, in all seriousness, they are getting a really good push on this bottom lane, and Tristana can burn these towers so quickly.
And her crits are just so huge right now. It does a third of Corki's health with just a single auto at this point. So they're just happy to walk up here, especially with the Sejuani still dead, just now spawning, and Kennen in the top lane also. They're happy to walk up here, get another route onto Spooderman. He's just going to kind of tank it up a little bit. Oh, they throw the ult out. Misses everybody with the Xmivy at this point. Dark Cliff just about to go down, has the ult to safety. Kennon's in the backline. Does stun out 2 of them. They're going to get onto the backline. Just don't keep Tristana safe at this point. They do clear her down. They don't get anything out of it. They are going to only try and get a kill back on Spooderman. Does go down eventually, but that is going to be 3 kills for 1. And Ajax is going to stun up. My account is hacked to walk out, but they don't really get anything out of that. They get a turret, but that's not enough to be worth it at this point of the game.
And that fight was just such a pivotal moment there for just 5 dudes because we did see the damage coming down. We saw the correct layering of the CC, and as well as just the good front to back team fighting. And if they continue to pull that kind of style of fight in these team fights, they could just win this game because they are behind and they have been just kind of clawing their way back into this. And I want to see what these team fights are really going to be about because they've gone both ways every single time. And it's all about these layering CCs, who gets caught out, and which member is most important in these priorities.
That, and we're starting to reach the point of the game where, while it's still a 3K gold lead in favor of Howling Gale, we're starting to reach that point of the game where the gold lead starts to matter less and less as the items start getting filled out. Because as we see, like the Jin, who has had a rough start of the game, he's actually almost dead even with Tristana now. He's just down about 400 gold at this point, and so that big lead that was there earlier doesn't really mean much anymore. Dark Eclipse is going to try and go here on the Corki. They are going to take him out. They use the Kennen ult as well, but Dark Eclipse is going to get blown up by Mini Tank. Oh, but 2-2 beeps in the background. Oh my, Dark Eclipse lived just barely through all that. So as soon as we were getting ready to praise them, now we get they get ace right in front of Barons. They're not even going to bother with Baron. They think it's game. They're not even going to go for the Baron at this point. They're literally all 5 going to run down mid. There's no one to come up here until 20 seconds.
Tristana.
So, yep, that's it. There's one. As soon as we thought they were back in the game, they find a way to throw our hopes and dreams out the window. And this does look like Howling Gale is going to be the returning finalist from the previous season and get their first win of this season.
And just like I was saying last game, it's the second you start talking good, it's always one of those picks, and that's exactly what just happened. And they will take this game. They're going to be a bit greedy with it. They're not going to end right away, but they are going to take this game and show us that they do have the skills for this. They do have the momentum to be able to win in this league again and to show us why they were finalists last year.
Yep, they do see. We do see them hold their composure. They're going to have a lot of stuff they got to clean up if they want to get back to the finals, I feel like.
Sure.
I wasn't really able to watch too much towards the end of last season, so I hope that's not the quality of game that they were playing. So, but if they clean stuff up, the pieces are there. Like, especially because they were playing with a subbed in jungler this moment, so they don't also have the best.
Who apparently only plays Warwick.
Yeah, apparently they found a Warwick one trick in gold to be their emergency sub. But actually Dark Eclipse did fine. I don't know how well he knows these guys or anything like that. He did, they let him have Warwick all 3 games and he didn't do bad on any of them. So he was kind of bottom of the damage barrel every single time on his team as well. But he was there, he did it, he smited really well, he got the objectives like he needed to, didn't feed. That could be a big part of winning, is just don't feed. But yeah, a lot of this came down to the bot lane of Howling, just because the first game, yeah, they had a bit of a rough time with the Pollution Pike. They fell behind and were able to continue pushing that lead. But the other 2 games, they just got an early lead and they just kept rotating throughout the map, which helps keep the rest of your team in the game. And I feel like, honestly, this whole series could have been a 2-0 either direction with how back and forth the games were, but it did end up being a 2-1 in favor of Howling Gale Gaming. They were able to clean it up finally at the end to get that win, and so they are going to proceed to become 1-1 this season, while unfortunately Just 5 Dudes is going to fall 0-2. But Just 5 Dudes can also take the series. They had their own mistakes as well, but they also had the potential to win. So they clean up the stuff on their side as well. They work on their communications issues we were pointing out that appeared to be an issue. They could look to start winning, getting some wins on their side also.
Exactly, and that's the beautiful thing about this league is we're only in week 2. They have tons of time to be able to pull things together. And with multiple scrim blocks throughout the week, you can definitely pull things together and work out a system that works for you. Because right now, this system just seems a little bit defunct. But that's the thing. We did see moments of brightness for both teams throughout the entire series. And so, yeah, those communication issues were a big problem, but that doesn't mean that you don't know how to play League of Legends. And they showed us that in the game 1 and almost game 2, or game 3, sorry. Game 2 was a smash, but game 3, they did almost have the game in their hands. It just came down to a few decisions and a few bad team fights. But both teams able to show us that they do have hope and that they can bring this league some honor with their team play. And I'm just really excited for this season and super excited to be part of this league.
Yeah, we'll have to see how both teams proceed from here, see if they can get their stuff cleaned up here. Maybe they'll see each other down the road. kind of either score revenge or prove who's once and for all the better team between the two. But for now, that is going to conclude it for this evening. Once again, congratulations to Howling Gale Gaming for winning the series tonight. I am Josie, your play-by-play. I was joined today by Lemons doing a great job on their color casting, and we're also hosted today by YSwap doing our streaming for us. Did a great job there. Otherwise, y'all have a great night. Thank you for watching.